Well, so yeah, really happy. Yeah, more to come. So yeah, so far, yeah, really happy for it.
It's official. We are world champion.
Especially I think back to home races and to show that our car is fast. I think that's a good indication for tomorrow. So we work hard tomorrow, and hopefully I think we can finish 1-2 tomorrow.
I think it's an amazing performance from the team, and great that we get to lock out the front row. Let's go for the home win.
The start was not ideal for us. We started with a harder compound That means we dropped back, we had collisions, thank God both cars are still running. And then both cars had to really pick up the pace, overtake, and now we're in an extreme tense battle with Porsche number 6. And let's see how this plays.
I think we have good pace. We're maybe a fraction quicker than the Porsche, but they're doing a great job here. So yeah, we'll do our best. With P2 right now, we'll keep pushing, try and bring home a 1-2.
I was so happy to make a move for P1, and then now hopefully we finish P1, P2 in the end. Yeah.
I think easy race. I think to overtaking same category, it's really challenging. Easy to get marbles out of the track, and of course to overtaking the GT car or the LMP2. I think always is challenging for the tires, but I think generally we handle quite well. We know what we need to do in the car. I think team helped us very good in the car, so I think it worked everything good. Everyone done a great job this week. I think through the season, it's a fantastic result. I think this is really, we have to be proud of ourselves, and we have to really thanks for supporting from Japan, the partner. I think all the support makes us proud here. And I think now we won the World Championship as a team title, and we need to enjoy this moment. Right?
Hello and welcome from Barcelona. It is the final day in the Gran Turismo World Series calendar. Yes, the year is coming to a close, but don't worry. We've got an amazing weekend of racing lined up for you. We have got surprises. We have got announcements about the game. We have got prizes that you can take home with you. It's very exciting. We've also, of course, got the finals for the Manufacturers' Cup and the Nations' Cup too. But today, it's all about 22 drivers, all on their lonesome, racing against each other to find out who is the best. Yes, is the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup today. Let's find out how that competition is going to break down. The Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup will be made up of the top 21 drivers from the 2023 online series. 3 winning drivers from local competitions will also be racing to make up a total of 24 drivers. Qualifying will be held in 2 groups, with each driver taking a single lap attack. The drivers will be split into the semi-final groups A or B according to their qualifying time. This qualifying order will also determine the grid order for the semi-final. These fiercely contested semi-finals will see the top 4 drivers from each automatically qualify for the grand final. If you fail to make the top 4, you're entered into the repechage. Again, it's the top 4 drivers that progress into the grand final and join the fastest drivers from the semi-finals. At this point, we will say goodbye to the 4 drivers that finished outside the top 10. As always in GT, your position in the races leading up to the grand final, whether it be from a semi-final or the repechage, determines your grid position for the grand final.
Hello and welcome to Barcelona for the 2023 Gran Turismo World Series World Finals. Goodness me, it is great to be back in action. My name is Tom Brooks, alongside me as ever, Jimmy Broadbent. JB, we've got so much to come here this weekend. Manufacturers' Cup, Nations' Cup tomorrow and Sunday. But today, it's all about the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. This is going to be mega, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a favourite of mine this over the years. And we've got 4 amazing races coming up for you guys. But before any of that, we have to get into the qualifying that went on a bit earlier on. Here are some highlights from that using the Toyota GR Corolla. Jose Serrano, the Spaniards, setting the early pace. Well, I say setting the early pace, and I'm very happy about it, with Paul Ura as well, very quick, alongside Coque López. So the Spanish contingent very fast here, Tom.
As you would expect, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya was the venue for this one, the national layout, but it didn't go all the way for some of the drivers. Lucas Bonelli having an off-track excursion, his lap time disallowed as a result of that as well. You can see the visible frustration on the Brazilian's face, but keep an eye out for this. Rios Kokoban, an amazing lap time with just over 1 minute left of the session to go top of the pile, and, well, a typically understated reaction from the Japanese driver. But here are the qualifying results from the 22 that started. Rios Kokoban taking top honours ahead of a trio of Spaniards, Lopez, Ura and Serrano. Then you've got Carrazza, the Argentinian Marzo, Miyazono, former champion, down there in 7th place as well. Further down the order, there are a few drivers who have got a little bit of work to do, in particular the likes of Lucas Bonelli and also Rama as well. You can see them down here in 21st and 22nd place, respectively. Their lap times disallowed, and you might be imagining that there should be 24 drivers here. Sadly, a couple couldn't make it due to some travel-related issues. But it's going to be hugely interesting to see how this one works out.
Yeah, it just shows you guys how important it is over this one-shot qualifying to get it right. One little mistake, one little moment onto the gravel, one track limit penalty, and you're at the back of the grid with it all to do in the first semi-finals.
Yeah, let's have a look, shall we, at the grid order then for semi-final A, because they were deciphered into 2 different semi-finals, and here is how the first one lines up. Rios Kokoban starting on pole position ahead of Paul Ura. You've got Adriano Carrazza on the second row ahead of former champ Takuma Miyazono, then Guy Barbara, then you've got the American driver Roach, Fidi, Busnelli, Etemezion, Kindle, and then Lucas Bonelli. The Brazilian is going to have to bounce back from 11th on the grid.
Yeah, he's going to be one to watch, I think, Lucas Spinelli. But someone else to watch, of course, is going to be Ryota Kokubun. There he is, looking, as always, cool, calm and collected, starting from pole position. What's going through his mind right now? Probably about the same as qualifying. Not very much, I'd say.
Exactly. And also, there's some hometown favourites here this weekend, especially Pol Jura, the Spanish driver, local lad to here, just 18 years of age. Here he is, and I know that there is a lot of support here in Barcelona from Pol Jura tonight. You can hear the delight of the crowd, and, well, if that's not a lot of pressure on your shoulders for such a young driver, I don't know what is.
I reckon it's going to have a couple of attempts at least, surely, having that crowd behind you. Definitely amazing to see that home support for him as well. And, of course, someone else as well, is we have Callum Roach from the US, completely new to this competition, 18 years old. And we've been told a lot, very, very quick online, but hasn't had a chance to show these events yet due to being just too young. But now, first time on the stage.
Yeah, that's it. We're really looking forward to seeing what Kalen is going to be able to do. Here are the racing details then for semi-final A. The Toyota GR Super Racing Concept is the car. Racing hard tyres at Grand Valley. 8 laps, rolling start. What are the key overtaking opportunities on this circuit, JB?
I think anything with a long straight. I mean, T2, you've got a long draft down the back straight there. Good to try and make a late lunge if you're feeling a little bit brave, of course. And, of course, there's a hairpin midway through the course as well. So, other than that, it's actually quite a narrow track. So, positioning is definitely going to be everything. But, of course, the car they're racing in is Toyota GR Super Racing Concept. Or to you and me, basically, a Group 3 car with just shy of 600 brake horsepower, coming in at under 1250 kg. Very, very fast machine, and definitely one of those cars that lends itself to good racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you love it, Jimmy, because it's got a turbo on it. Anything with a snail, you're all over, aren't you?
I'm waiting for like the ludicrous blow-off. Maybe not for this car, but still fun nonetheless.
Absolutely. Well, of course, it's not only about us here in Barcelona, it's about you at home watching the GR Supra GT Cup here tonight. And there are loads of campaigns we've got in Gran Turismo 7 over the course of this weekend for you to get involved and have a look at what it's all about here now.
If you've opened up GT7 in the past couple of days, you'll see that it's been updated for the GT World Finals in Barcelona. It's your chance to get rewarded with amazing gifts all weekend. If you think you can predict who'll be our 2023 winners, click the bonus campaign button on the GT7 map screen to join the Predict the Winner campaign by Brembo. Receive 1 million credits every time you predict correctly. You can vote right up until the start of the grand final race of each event. You can also get rewarded by watching the World Finals directly in GT7. Click the button on the GT7 map screen and join the Viewers campaign by BBS. You will automatically receive a new Vision GT concept car for every show that you watch. While you're in GT7, participate in the final celebration race to experience the same races as the drivers competing at the World Finals this weekend. Keep practicing, and who knows? It could be you going head-to-head here next year.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. Now, anyway, we're normally here in our GT desk for the commentary, but we're actually going to head over to the commentary box here this afternoon.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Because, well, we've got to keep the sound to a minimum of some sort of description. So let's head into what is our booth for the evening. This is where we're going to be based and commentating on all of the races live. And it's also an amazing opportunity for you to join us in one of the other languages as well. We're live in 7 different languages over the course of this event. You can see the Spanish commentators there, the Italians, you've got Emilio and Andrea, the Portuguese, Francisco and Duarte, and then we've got Nakajima-san and Yamada-san. But here is the grid as they line up then. Here is Pol Jura in second position on the grid. Let's see how the Spaniard is going to do. Adriano Carrazza, third on the grid. Takuma Miyazono lining up in 4th position. Can he throw the cat amongst the pigeon? What about the Australian, Guy Barbara, in 5th place with Callum Roach in 6th position. Then you've got Mehdi Hafidi, the Frenchman, in 7th place. Alongside him there is Busnelli. Let's see what the Italian is going to be able to do. Kylian Espesian in 9th position on the grid. Kindle, the American driver, making his debut in the GR Super GT Cup with Lucas Spinelli, the 11th and last driver, lining up on the grid here for this one. Looking forward to seeing what this is all about, but a rolling start, JB, will just spread that field out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll give this man, Rich Kokubun, a little bit of breathing room going down into T1. The home support here for Pol Jura is pretty substantial, so that's got to be in Kokubun's mind, rolling towards the start-finish line, of course. But 8 laps here, it's going to be a sprint to the end, and watch out for Luca Bonelli at the bottom of the field there. He's got a lot to do. We know he can be aggressive, we know he can make the move, moves, so definitely going to be one for us to watch as this race unfolds.
So 8 laps ahead of the drivers then. Top 4 will automatically progress through into the grand final here tonight. 5th to 10th will go into the repechage. Let's see what is going to happen as Ryota Kokkonen is ready to lead the field across the timing line and get this one underway. It's Grand Valley, it's Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup in the GR Supra Racing Concept Machine. 4 drivers to qualify, 5th to 10th into the repechage. 1 driver will be going no further. Let's get ready to go racing. The Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup is underway here in Barcelona as Ryota Kokkonen leads the field across the timing line through the left-handed kink of turn 1 and then into the hard braking zone of turn 2. Is anybody going to make a move? Pol Ura there looking close on the brakes, but no way for the Spaniard to get his way past at the moment. It's going to surely be a little bit later on when the field begins to bunch up in towards the heavy braking zone of turn 6, I reckon, is where we may see the first moves starting to be made.
Yes, the first realistic place to make a pass. A clean start for everyone so far. That's the important thing. Kokkonen there, not looking to go defensive. Pol Ura thinking about a move, half thinking about on the inside. They're just applying the pressure in the background. A bit of contact there between a couple of cars. I think that was Etimasi and the Lebanon driver getting punted out wide there. They're side by side. Ura there going for the move already up into first position. The Spanish crowd here goes wild as their compatriot takes the lead, and now it's Ura, Kokkonen and Corazza, your top 3 with Roach, the American driver. Good start from him in 4th position.
Good start also to Lucas Benelli's race. He was in 11th on the grid, right at the back. He's already up into 8th position with half a lap done of this one. Guy Barbara, Takuma Miyazono under investigation for colliding with another car. We saw them 3 wide earlier on in the lap. Let's see whether the stewards deemed that there was any fault to blame between those 3 drivers for that incident. Corazza now onto the back of Ryota Kokkonen for 2nd place as we come over the viaduct down this straight. Is anybody going to make a move in towards this right-hander? No, pretty much one at a time through there. Going to go into a left-handed kick though, and this is where the circuit begins to open up and you come through to the final part of the lap. It's all going to be about the slipstream, and of course the race leader, now Pol Ura, doesn't have the advantage of that draft in front of him.
Yeah, we're about to see how strong that draft is. He's got a 6/10 gap down towards T1. Usually that's about enough, but now it's a Ura going defensive to the inside, just about trying to keep Kokkonen out of the draft. He's not going to be quite that close. Corazza in 3rd place behind Kokkonen. Not quite close enough for me, I don't think, Tom.
No, let's see what is going to happen then here with Corazza very close on the brakes in towards turn 2, but no room at the in for the Brazilian driver at the moment. Caleb Roach doing a good job. Corazza just biffing the wall on the outside of 2 there. Might cost him just a slight bit of momentum. Let's see if we can piece together what happened into the first lap. We're on board here with Guy Barbara in 5th position. In front of him here is Takuma Miyazono. Barbara, well, going for a move that was never really on, was it? That pushed out Miyazono wide, and then on the inside, I think went Caleb Roach there too. So I wonder whether Guy Barbara might be slapped on the wrist for that.
Yeah, I mean, I know Guy Barbara, he wouldn't have done that on purpose. I think he just missed his braking zone there a little bit. Easy to do as is, but of course the result is a little bit of contact there. Echemetzian, the Lebanon driver, getting a 2-second penalty for contact a bit earlier in the race. His race goes from bad to worse, so a reminder that the 11th place driver is going to go out here, of course, and will not take any further part in this competition. So Guy Barbara also slapped with a 3-second penalty. Fair? I think so. It was a fairly big contact from him, but that is going to ruin his race. Meanwhile, we're on board with Takuma Miyazono, a driver with a massive history at these GT events, currently in 5th place behind a relative new lover, Callan Roach, who's doing really well so far.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how Callan is going to get on over the course of this one. The American driver just riding on board with him as it sits for now in 4th position. Takuma Miyazono in 5th place. Miyazono finished 2nd in the grand finals for the Toyota GR GT Cup back in 2021. He'll be hoping to try and go one better than that here tonight, but that's going to be a very tall order. Guy Barbara there with a 3-second penalty that he's been slapped with, so that's going to drop him down behind Kindle. It's going to drop down behind Hafidi. It's going to spoil his race and might possibly put him on the fringes of not being able to make it through even into the repechage. Meanwhile, back in the battle for the top 5 places, Caleb Roach coming to pressure here from Miyazono, who uses that slipstream to his advantage. He's now got the inside line on the brakes in towards turn 2. Miyazono making that move look easy. He runs it slightly wide on exit. That presents another opportunity here for Roach, who's trying to retaliate. They're going to flick it though into the left-hander as they run side by side. He ducks back behind Miyazono's Toyota for the time being.
Yeah, and you see Miyazono there just sort of showing the new kid in the block how it's done. Saying, you know what, I've been here for a long time. I don't want to factor in front of me. I want to get by you as quick as I can and now try and chase after Corazza, Kokkonen and Ura in front. So the Spaniard driver, currently leading. There he is on your screens, ahead of Ryota Kokubun. And I've got to say, since the move at the start, he's not really had a response, Kokubun. He's been able to stay relatively within the slipstream range, but let's say it's about 4 tenths, I think 3.5 tenths really, at the start of the start of the main straight, I should say, is about how close you need to be for a go into T1.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any sort of moves being made at this particular point as the field begins to settle down and into that rhythm, but it's kind of later on in the race where you begin to expect them to come in. Lap 3 out of 8 we're on. We're not even a half race distance yet, and Pol Ura trying to put a bit of distance between himself and Kokubun. He wants to get himself out of slipstream range. That's about 1.1 seconds or so, there and thereabouts. He's 7 tenths of a second as it sits now for the Spanish driver, and this would be a dream start to his weekend if he's able to take the checkered flag in first position as Barbara serves his penalty and drops down to 10th.
Yeah, unfortunately for Guy Barbara, I mean, he's still on the fringes right now. Finishing 10th does put you through to the repechage, so I mean, they're kind of fortunate in some way that we've had a couple of people that have not been able to attend due to travel issues. It means they are now a bit closer to going through to the last chance saloon, but of course being in that top 4, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, Carl Etemezian, the driver who is not set to make it through, and he's some 3.1 seconds off the back of Guy Barbara, so not entirely sure what's happened to the Lebanese driver. As it stands for now, he is not going to be qualifying for anything, and he will be going home, but there's still plenty of time for this race to change. Places changing a little bit further down the order as well. Busnelli dropping down the order. The Italian was up in about 6th place a few moments ago, and he's just tumbling down. He's in a bit of a squabble here with Guy Barbara now for 8th position, as they seem to be swapping paint corner by corner. As Takuma Miyazono closes up once again onto the back of Adriano Carrazza.
Yeah, Benelli, of course, just behind this battle, is our biggest mover so far, up 4 places from the back of the grid at the start of the race. So we did say one to watch. He's doing well so far, but it seems kind of everything's calmed down a little bit at the front here at the moment. It's quite hard to make a pass through the middle part of this of the course here. It's quite very much one at a time, so really have to try and focus on these 6 streaming opportunities. We're coming up to one of those now through the double hairpin into the left and into the right onto the bridge. Very easy to get this wrong and run into the wall on the left. Ask me how I know that, Tom Brooks. I've done that many times.
Did you end up swimming in the river as well?
Yeah, I'm the only GT commentator to actually know what that water feels like. It's nice and warm down there, luckily. So, but anyway, we're looking back at Pol Ura, and you can see over the rear wing. Imagine this by Ryota Kokubun, one of the most decorated GT drivers at these events, and staring down now. Well, there's a relative newcomer for Pol Ura, but he's putting up the pressure well.
Yeah, he really is, Pol. We know that he is, despite being a young driver, relatively experienced. He's been racing online with a lot of these drivers for the last couple of years, but just hasn't been old enough to come here and compete in the World Series. You need to be a minimum of 18 years of age, and Pol only turned that, I think, earlier this year, maybe back end of last year, something along the lines of that. So that is why he is a new face, and that is why we're now seeing him at the sharp end, because he's raced with these drivers over the last few seasons. Here is Takuma Miyazono putting the pressure onto the back of Adriano Carrazza. There was a bit of contact there into 2, wasn't there? That's now putting him under pressure here from Caelan Roach here too, so it's brought the American right back into the party, and that just goes to show what happens when you sort of let the aggression get the better of you.
There's a replay of that, so actually it's a bit further down. This is Guy Barbara and Busnelli. We're going side by side. This is very much a one-at-a-time corner, so I can't see this ending very well as Busnelli runs onto the grass. A little bit of contact between the two. Guy Barbara muscles his way by and Kindle. Really awesome opportunity to drive, and then puts himself alongside Busnelli up the inside, which means now Busnelli, well, that place I think was not actually kept by Kindle, the American driver. So a reminder, the top 4 drivers will automatically go through to the final here. So that fight between Caelan Roach and Takuma Miyazono is relevant.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one works out, because Caelan Roach, as you say, being the first driver to go into the repechage, that will be great for him because he'll start that repechage on pole position. However, you don't want to be going through there. If you can get yourself automatically in with a shout, you want to be doing that. Yeah,
but the repechages tend to be chaos. And we've got a good one lined up for you today as well, guys. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Looking back from Adriano Carrazza, who's been, for him, a fairly calm race, although he has dropped off the back of Kokubun quite a bit after that, I think that contact with Miyazono at T1 though. That's sort of given the top 2 quite a bit of breathing room now. But right now, going onto the straight, it's very close between 3rd, 4th and 5th. And here they come now on to the front straight. Will Carrazza be able to keep them behind?
Into the tunnel they go, headlights gleaming in the darkness. They'll emerge and burst into the light. Karatsa, of course, doesn't have the advantage of the slipstream like Miyazono and Roach do behind. And you might imagine that they're going to be changing places here as they come down the start-finish straight through the kink of turn 1 into the braking zone of turn 2. Miyazono deciding that discretion is the better part of valour on this occasion, and they exit turn 2 in the same positions in which they entered. Karatsa, they're still flirting with that wall on the outside as Miyazono picks up a warning for that contact that we saw last time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually deceptively difficult to overtake into T1 because of that little kink before it unsettles a car that waits in a weird place. So if you nail the brakes before the car is settled, you could end up really just messing up the corner and losing a lot of time. So it is hard to pass there. And Miyazono there signalling his intention, sort of giving the Karatsa a bit of a hurry up. So come on, mate, let's get on with it now. I'm under pressure too. I don't want to have to wait here and be under attack now. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Kokubun has gained on Pol Euro, seemingly out of nowhere. Last time around, lap times are pretty much identical from these two, so it must have been a mistake in the first sector there from Pol Euro.
Yeah, the only two drivers that are lapping sort of in the low 148, aside from Lucas Bonelli, who's down in 7th position. He's some half a second off the back of Mehdi Hafidi, but Kokubun there, as you say, closing that gap down to the Spaniard. Are we going to see a twist in the tail before the end of this race? Lap 6 out of 8 we are on. Over the viaduct we go, in towards the tunnel, and then the braking zone of this hairpin. Shift down into second gear, flick it into this right-hander. You've got to go one at a time through here. Anyone who tries to go 2x2, it's a brave opportunity and maybe a last lap lunge, but no move for Kokubun as he's not quite close enough to latch onto the back of Jura for the time being, but certainly closing up. And you wonder now whether Jura, if he made a mistake or something along the lines of that, if he's going to be able to try and rebuild from that mistake and try and build that gap out again to the Japanese driver.
He's looking fighty though as Kokubun. He's in the draft, he's getting closer than he has been so far. A fight as well behind, so we've got a battle for first and second and third and fourth. Karatsa now having to defend from Miyazono, and Kokubun takes the lead from Pol Euro as well. We're watching the battle for third place right now, but Kokubun has gone back ahead, and then Jura has fought back. He's on the inside, drives the Japanese driver to the wall, to the applause of the home crowd here. So a great move by Jura to keep the position, but these guys are now going at it big time, and they've got a little bit of space to do that. There's a 3-second gap behind Kokubun, so they can afford to have a little bit of a fight, but too much, and it's become more than a freeway scrap.
Jura go for that defensive line into the right-hander there. I wonder if that might compromise his run on the exit of the corner. Thankfully, the camber helping him through there as they flick it through into the left. This is the technical part of the lap. Kokubun go for the higher outside line, taking a later apex to try and get as good an exit as he possibly can out of that and latch on to the back of the Spanish driver. You can see them kicking up dust as they try to extend the limits of the circuit as much as possible. Jura looks like he's just got this one closed off for the time being, but Kokubun, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and they're going to be coming through to the start of the final lap, and that is where it's going to count, because this not only matters for the result of this race, but also for their grid position in the grand final too.
Well, Jura's going to know the move now. Kokubun sort of showed his hand a little bit too early there onto the lap, so he's going to know now to defend there. Speaking of defending, Karatsa in the background weaving to try and break the toe of the cars behind, try and get rid of that slipstream, give him a bit more of an advantage going into the last half of that. Now, this is where I've seen Jura being pretty strong. He's pretty good on traction out of this right-hander. Let's see if he is this time. No, he dips a wheel into the gravel. That's going to slow him right up, and it's given Kokubun a run already. So this is no doubt going to be an attempt by Ryota Kokubun, who uses the draft down the straight, get extra speed, get a slingshot, and I'm fairly certain we're going to see him move into T1 here, Tom.
And let's see what happens as we come across the timing line to start the final lap of racing in semi-final A. Then Jura on the inside defending the line from Kokubun, who goes towards the outside. There's a bit of hip and shoulder between them into the braking zone of turn 2. Jura's got the inside line. There's a bit of contact into there. Jura, can he hold it through on the inside? Yes, he can. Kokubun has to settle for second best for the time being, as Karatsa is now up into third place there with Miyazono and Roach very close behind in that final battle for the podium, but crucially the last qualifying spot in the grand final too.
That's one last challenge of Kokubun down to the hairpin, goes for a wide entry for maybe a shallow exit, try and over-under on Jura, but he knows better than that. And I've got to say, Kokubun just showed his hand too early. Jura knew exactly what to expect, defended the position well. A bit of understeer though, mid-corner, really starting to push those tyres, trying to stay ahead. This is where you start making mistakes when you're under pressure. You start pushing the car a bit harder, it starts going a little bit beyond its parameters, and then you just start losing time. But these guys separated at the hip at the moment. Jura and Kokubun, it's going to be a great final, I can tell you that already. But behind, Karatsa, Miyazono and Roach are fighting over those last two places for automatic qualification to the final.
Yeah, top four will be going through. Just to remind you, 5th to 10th into the repechage, 11th and down, you're going home. So let's see how this is going to work out. Over the viaduct we go for the final time. Kokeman closing up onto the back of Europe, but there's no way through here at this point here, JB.
No, not very much you can do at this point. You can try and get close coming out of this section, try and use the traction. We saw a mistake from Europe on the last lap, and we know the Kokeman can get side by side. A great exit there from Europe, but again onto the gravel, but a better exit this time. He's got a slightly big gap, and it's going to be a drag race to the line, Tom.
So Jura then is holding firm for now, but is he going to be able to take the lead and take the checkered flag in just a few hundred metres time? They go through the tunnel and burst into the daylight for the final time in semi-final A. Jura is going to take the win in semi-final A from Ryota Kokeman. Surely it's a drag to the line, but the Spaniard takes it on home soil. In second place is Kokeman, third is Carrazza. Roach gets fourth on the final lap from Takuma Miyazono as well, who will go through into the repechage. Benelli, Hafidi, Busnelli, Barbara and Kindle will be the last of the drivers qualifying into that repechage race. Sadly, we will say goodbye to Carl Etemezion, but what a drive from Paul Jura there, JB. He timed that one to perfection.
Yeah, amazing drive there of a man a lot more mature than his years, I'd say that right now. And of course, a big shout out to Kalen Roach for just on the line, knocking out someone far, far more experienced than him and getting that last automatic spot into the grand final.
Yeah, super, super impressive there for Kalen Roach in his first appearance in the Gran Turismo World Series. He'll be grinning like a Cheshire cat from that one, and we'll see exactly what Paul Jura's thoughts are after that race. Carlo Etemezion, you can see the Lebanese driver there just looking a bit dejected after, sadly, not making the cut for the repechage. He will go no further here tonight for the Gran Turismo World Series Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup.
Understandably, really, you know, I mean, just a small mistake at the start of the race there, Messi, and that was enough really to put him out. So here's some highlights. Here was the start of the race. You see, this is what caused a couple of penalties and caused Luca Benelli to gain a few places pretty much for free.
Yeah, you could see there Mehdi Hafidi pretty disappointed with what happened on that first lap. This was Jura's send on Ryota Kokeman on the opener. This is what gave the Spaniard the lead. He never relinquished it from that point onwards, pretty much. Takuma Miyazono and Kalen Roach went 2 by 2 on the start of lap 3 as they came in towards turn 1 and turn 2. Miyazono going for the inside line, demoting the American down, and this is where it all began to get a bit feisty at the front. Kokeman there getting ahead of Jura, but not for long, just a couple of hundred metres or so in towards the right-hander of 2. Jura was back up the inside, and that's where he stayed until the checkered flag.
Yeah, he tried that move before and just couldn't quite make it work. Here was the last lap. Here was Kellen Roach, the American driver, making the best of Carrazza and Miyazono having their own fight. Miyazono, you see there wide, trying to go around the outside of Carrazza. That gives Roach an opportunity to get nice and close into the draft. And while we were watching this at the front, look in the background, you can see Roach there just about pipping Miyazono to the line by, what was that? Maybe like a 1,000 for 100, some ridiculous margin. But there is your winner of semi-final A, Paul Jura. Nice to see that sportsmanship there between Kokeman and Jura. And there are your results.
Yep, so Paul Jura takes the spoils in semi-final A here for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup ahead of Kokeman and Carrazza. Kalen Roach, in his first ever World Series event, qualifies automatically for the grand final here tonight. Miyazono, Benelli, Hafidi, Busnelli, Barbara, Kindle will go through into the repechage. Sadly, we say goodbye to the Lebanese driver, Carl Etemezion. Anyway, what an amazing race. Let's go down to Jules, who's chatting with our winner, Paul Jura.
I mean, come on, give him a round of applause. That was some amazing defending. Let's hear it. Yes, I mean, you must feel quite happy after that because, you know, you got a really early lead. It looked really comfy. You were just, you know, you were there. It was quite casual, 6/10. It was fine. Then all of a sudden, Kokeman, sneaky, waiting for his moment. Did you know it was coming? You must have known it was coming.
Yeah, I knew he was in behind me. So what I tried to do first is try to open a gap. So at least we could just do a two-way battle instead of a 4 or a 5. And that worked. I was seeing that I could escape a bit, but in the end, Kokeman resisted, and it was a nice battle in the end.
I mean, you kept your cool. That was pretty intense for like 2 laps.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
You were like, okay, just breathe. How do you stay calm? What do you do?
I don't know. I just focus ahead. It's true that being 2 helps. You don't have that much pressure. And I knew well how to defend here, and that's what I did, and it worked. And Kokeman, we had a great fight. He's very clean as well, so fair play.
Also, and I mean, I have to say, out of everyone here, you probably had the shortest trip to get here. How long did it take you to get here?
I actually came straight from university the same morning. So yeah, it wasn't. I went to class in the morning, and yeah, basically 40 minutes by train.
Look at this.
So yeah.
Outrageous. Yeah, but that's, you know, that's pretty good. And obviously you got the home crowd here. Was that, do you find that helpful or was that pressure?
Yeah.
Well, did you feel the pressure or did it help? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, there was a little bit of pressure, but I want to say thank you to them. Gracias. Gracias a todos. To come, to cheer the Spanish drivers, which is awesome. But yeah, there's this kind of extra feeling where you know you're at home, you know you want to do well. But in the end, you have to be cold-minded, try to not think about it, and race as best as you can.
Well, you've already done it. You smashed semi-A straight in. Great grid position for the grand final. Who are you going to keep your eye on in semi-final B?
Everyone.
Everyone. Are you coming for everyone?
No, I mean, I need to be careful of everyone. I mean, yeah, I'm not. This win, I mean, it's good, of course, but it's not done yet. So.
Not done yet.
Yeah, we have to be careful still.
All right, all right. Well, look, good luck in the grand final. We're going to chuck it over to
That's
Tom and
it,
Julian.
folks.
Semi-final B underway.
Yeah, cheers, Jules, much appreciated. I tell you what, if I was a university professor and I was grading that performance from Pole Europe, I'd be awarding him a first after that, because that was super, super impressive. Really good defending, driving maturely beyond his years, really.
Yeah, he took the words out of my mouth. I mean, what a mature drive. You know, he's out there, he's defending against someone with a massive history in the GT World Series events here, and all doing it in front of a home crowd who are cheering basically any time he appears on screen. So I think an amazing drive under pressure, and definitely one to watch for the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's shift our attention then over to semi-final B. They're coming thick and fast here tonight. So here is the grid for the second race of the evening. Coque López and Jose Serrano making an all-Spanish 1-2. Then we've got Marza in third place ahead of Alex Lopez, Baptiste Beauvoir, Kanata Kawakami in fifth and sixth, then Struck, Laboutelet, Penko, Hayward, and then Rama, one of the drivers who sadly did not manage to set a fast lap time after exceeding track limits in the qualification session that we had earlier on today. He'll be down in 11th place on the grid with a lot of work to do. Now, Jimmy, who are your ones to watch for this one?
It's hard to look like Coque López. There he is, our nation's cup champ from, when was that?
Last year.
Was that? Last year, my word. Time flies, doesn't it? But a very, very experienced driver. I've been here for a very long time. Look at who did the skill chart? I want one of those for me. That'd be all zero for me. But
exactly.
Yeah, get that down job. 21 Manufacturers Cup champion, 22 Nations Cup champion, and very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, 24 years old is Coque López. What about Jose Serrano as well? Here he is, the Spaniard. A lot of support for him here tonight, as you can hear, to the plaudits of the crowd. And we've seen him for a lot of years on the Top 16 Superstars when we did that a couple of years ago. And very keen to see what sort of fight he is going to be able to bring to the front. And also keep an eye out for Kanata Kawakami as well. Japanese driver. We know that the Japanese drivers are very, very quick. We saw that just a few moments ago with Ryota Kokubun. Can Kawakami take a leaf out of his book?
He's always been very fast, Kawakami, but maybe not always in the right place at the right time. So these semi-final races are pretty frantic. So if he can get in within the mix, I think he's got a chance of getting into one of those top 4 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, semi-final B at Deep Forest Raceway is the circuit we're going to be competing on. Once again, the Toyota GAZOO Racing Supra concept car comes out to play. Racing hard tyres, 10 laps though for this one. Deep Forest always throws up a few surprises too.
Yeah, you've got 2 massive overtaking spots in T1 and T14. Look at that drive from T10 up towards T14. So getting a good run out of that's going to be super, super important. And I think positioning, kind of similar to what we saw in the last race, is going to be also part of this. So making sure you've got your car in the right place in the right time. If you find yourself too far ahead, you might end up being slipstreamed by the guys behind. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, it really is. And we know that Deep Forest, as I said, throws up a few surprises. We saw some amazing racing, though, last year, didn't we? In the Nations Cup, in the Manufacturers Cup, over the course of 2022. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like in the GR Supra GT Cup here tonight, too.
Well, we've just been told to box some. You know what that means? Back to our lovely commentary
That's the one.
to get semi-final B underway.
Looking forward to this one as the drivers are getting themselves in position here for the second of the semi-finals for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. 12 drivers, of course, will be... 11 drivers will be going onto the grid for this one. Only 10 will go through automatically, that is, because we'll have the top 4 going into the grand final automatically. Then 5th to 10th will go into the repechage. 11th and down will go no further. So 2 non-qualifiers will sadly not make the cuts. But let's focus on semi-final B then, and here is how the grid lines up. Pole position for Spain's Coque López. What is he going to be able to do? Jose Serrano, though, will be keeping him honest alongside on that front row of the grid. Marza, the Argentinian driver, in 3rd place ahead of Alex Lopez, the 3rd of the Spaniards, in 4th position. Then Baptiste Beauvoir, an old favourite. He's been here for a few years, but he's still quick. Kanata Kawakami, we saw him just a few moments ago. Struik, the Australian, lines up in P7. Let's see what Josh is going to be able to do with Thomas Laboutelet alongside him. Then we've got Penko in 9th position on the grid. The crowd here going absolutely wild for him, with Randall Hayward lining up P10. And then Rama not managing to set a lap time. He lines up P11 and last on the grid here for this one. So Racing Hard Tyres, exactly the same conditions as we had for semi-final A a few moments ago here, Jimmy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think fortunately for our pole sitter, Coque López, the start-finish line is fairly far down here. So even with the rolling start and what would usually be a good drafting opportunity down towards T1, there shouldn't be enough room really for that to happen. So we'll have a little bit of time to sort of try and set the pace. He's got Jose Serrano behind him, they're both very good friends. It's both in their interest to get through to the grand final. So I think we'll see them maybe go easy on each other. But of course, Marza is not Spanish. Marza's probably going to be there to try and upset that. So yeah, I'm interested to see how these guys work together.
Yeah, let's see what Martin Marza will be able to do from 3rd on the grid. Can he upset the apple cart as the field comes around the final corner, aims for the timing line, and we will get ready to get semi-final B underway here in Barcelona. The atmosphere is palpable. We are hugely excited to see which of the top 4 will automatically qualify, who will be going through to the repechage. Let's see what happens. Semi-final B for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup is underway. It's a Spanish 1-2 with Lopez and Serrano leading the field across the timing line. Down in towards the first corner we go. Not a very long run in towards turn 1, so no mad moves being made through there, but Marza closing up onto the back of Jose Serrano. The first sector here at Deep Forest Raceway, it's quite technical, quite twisty, very much one at a time, so don't really expect any sort of moves to be made, but Marza trying to defy that and upset the apple cart already, looking to the inside there of Jose Serrano, but wasn't quite able to make anything stick through there.
Even if it is one at a time, it's always a good idea to just try and get into the mirrors of the guy in front, try and get him distracted, try and get him to miss an apex, because that could create an opportunity at a corner a bit later on. On board now with Alex Lopez as we look in front at Marza. It's a Spanish 1-2-4 so far. They'll be quite keen for a 1-2-3-4 if Penko can make his way up from the back of the grid. So on board still now, you're seeing this long back straight here at the Deep Forest Raceway. Great chance to sit in the turn of the guys in front. We are looking in the back of the Argentinian car now. Will we be close enough for a move? Of course, Marza has the tow as well. It seems that it's all one at a time through here. No one quite close enough for a move. You see under braking there, a big lunge there from Marza. Contact the back of Serrano's car, slows them all up on exit. That's what was that? That's Kawakami in the background.
Yeah, he's gone round. So unfortunately, we put the commentator's curse on Kawakami as he drops down to 10th place. Don't exactly know what happened there, but clearly are coming together with one of the other cars. Lopez now onto the back of Martin Marza as they come down the start-finish race. So from attacking to defending for the Argentinian as they go across the timing line and in towards turn 1. Lopez with the outside line is going to be last at the late breakers to get ahead of the Argentinian. They're 2x2 into there. Serrano's going to be really close with them as well, and keep an eye out for Baptiste Beauvoir, who's through on his inside, hip and shoulder between them, and somehow they managed to all exit that corner in the same positions that they entered.
Yeah, Baptiste Beauvoir, I've seen from his profile, has been nicknamed the French General, which I find is very commanding and definitely takes his driving style into account. You can see it already there. Any weakness, he's there to try and capitalise on that. So a reminder for those who maybe have just joined us, first of all, welcome. Second of all, we're available in 7 different languages, sorry. And third of all, the top 4 will automatically go through to the grand final. 5th to 10th go for the repechage, and right now it's just Struik in 11th, and will go no further in this competition.
I really want to sit on board here with Baptiste Beauvoir, because I wonder if he's just going to back off the throttle a little bit, or if he's just going to be going absolutely flat to the firewall. And I wonder whether he might just be trying to bridge the gap a little bit. I have to say, really good start also to this race, Jimmy, from Randall Hayward. You just pointed out on the timing screen. He's gone up 4 places into 6th as here comes Lopez trying to go up a place on Marza. Side by side they go. Bit of hip and shoulder between the two. Marza's going to get roughed up here because Baptiste Beauvoir is ready to pick up the pieces as his countryman Le Boutelet picks up a penalty as they come through in towards the left-hander. They're 2 by 2 here. Beauvoir on the inside, Marza on the outside. Track position advantage here for Beauvoir as they come across the timing line and down in towards the first corner. He gets ahead of the Argentinian, but is Marza going to be able to retaliate into the braking zone? Well, Beauvoir's wise to that. He goes for the defensive line in towards T1. He's going to try and force the Argentinian the long way around the outside through there, and indeed Beauvoir manages to get into 4th place and retain 4th place on the exit of T1.
That was really clever driving there from Baptiste. Alex in front there opened the door, and Baptiste also walked through it. So I will be interested. I think there's a little smattering of contact there between the Spaniard and the Argentine. So we'll see if there's any steward action there. Meanwhile, in front of the field, it's as we sort of predicted, Coque Lopez and Jose Serrano holding station for now. Now, if you're Jose Serrano, you're going through to the final as it is. Do you attack Coque Lopez for a better starting place, or do you stay where you are and try and play a bit of a team game really with your fellow countrymen?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I wonder whether they will be working in sync together and then maybe the gloves will come off with a couple of laps to go. We have seen that work out. Let's see what happened here. This is the first lap. This is Le Boutelet. He picks up a 3-second penalty. He's on the inside here of Struick. He just plants it into the side of Kawakami. That sends the Japanese driver around. Struick with nowhere to go and then drops down as well. So innocent victim there was the Australian driver, and it cost 2 drivers. So a well-deserved penalty, in my opinion.
Yeah, but luckily for him, he is now back into P10 after the Le Boutelet penalty, so still going through to the Repechage as it stands. So here we might get an answer to our question now as Serrano starts to put onto the back of Coque Lopez, coming down towards T1 in the toes, going extra speed, having not to face the air resistance of the car in front. Would he go for a move up the inside? I don't think he's going to for now. Serrano staying where he is. Lopez, Beauvoir and Marza.
Penko in the background there, Jimmy, as well. Just going up. Yeah, going up the inside of Randall Hayward for 6th place. So that's a good result for the Spaniard. Where is he starting? He was down in 9th position on the grid, wasn't he? So that's really good for him to be making some forward progress as we come in towards the middle stages then here of this race. He's got quite a gap though now to Marza. The good thing is if these 3 drivers start squabbling amongst one another, that might just draw them into the clutches of the Spaniard. And they're probably going to. It's a similar story to the last race. Top 2 are starting to put away a little bit, and of course 3rd, 4th and 5th are very, very close together, and they're all fighting over that 3rd and 4th position. If you're in 5th, you have to go through yet another race to try and get through to the grand final, so obviously they're going to try and avoid that at all costs. Here is Alex Lopez, currently as it stands qualified for the grand final. The race was finished right this second. Baptiste Beauvoir behind, and then Marza behind. Had a bit of a bad start, Marza, really. Got shuffled down into 5th place. I don't think really, he just didn't quite have that experience in the first couple of laps there, and maybe paid a little bit for it there. Yeah, hopefully he can learn from that, but either way, it is a Spanish 1-2-3 with Lopez now sitting in the wheel tracks of his fellow countrymen as they come to the timing line once more to start the 5th lap out of 10. So this is now the halfway stage of this race. Notice how they run here between 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Serrano here goes for the move then on Coque Lopez down the inside as he tries to challenge for the lead and makes it stick. So Serrano into the front of this race for the first time. Now the question is, are we going to see an immediate retaliation from Lopez, or is he now just going to sit behind Serrano and bide his time? You have to also think, it's very nice to go through the final with your compatriot, but also you're in front of a home crowd here. You want the applause, you want the cheers. So for Coque Lopez, you must be thinking, you know what, I didn't quite enjoy being jeered there as I got overtaken by Serrano. I might have another go at that down on the straight. And as we said, positioning is going to be everything here. If you're this close, coming onto the back straight, you're going to have a chance of a move into the hairpin at the end. Yeah, there's a good opportunity for that. It's all about the exit out of turn 10. You say it quite often, Jimmy, that you carry any mistake that you have here all the way down towards that next corner. Good exits there for 3rd, 4th and 5th place. And of course, just to remind you, top 4 will be going through. One of these 3 drivers, as it stands, will go through into the Repechage, the last chance qualifier, which really puts you on the back foot. At the moment, it will be Martin Marza, the Argentinian, and he'll be trying to change that as they come in towards the braking zone of 14. Beauvoir, bit of contact into the back of Lopez. It's all bunching up there, sort of the accordion effect through into that corner. Nobody really gaining more of an advantage than the other, so it's pretty all fair in love and war as it stands. I think Lopez, they're actually gaining an advantage from being hit by the guy behind, so very rare you say that, but that has put Baptiste Beauvoir now into the clutches of Martin Marza behind. We're looking at that battle now as Beauvoir goes defensive to the inside. He did this before. Can Marza running around the long way around here? There's a lot of marbles on the outside, tries to go the long way around,
Baptiste Beauvoir squeezing him to the outside as his prerogative to do that. Still side by side. Beauvoir will have the inside line for the next corner. Just keeps a place there from Martin Marza, but he's by no means safe. He is under constant threat, and any mistake, and Martin Marza is going to capitalise.
Yeah, tyre wear not a factor, by the way, in particular in this race. No need to worry about fuel at all. That'll come later on when we have the grand final. Incident under investigation there, Beauvoir, Lopez and Marza. I can only assume that was due to the contact that we saw at turn 14, but I don't think that there was anything really to investigate there, but stewards deeming it worthy to have a look at. Meanwhile, at the front, Serrano, 0.3 of a second the advantage he has over Lopez. You can guarantee that gap will begin to decrease as they come along this long back straight. Here is Lopez then, and here is Serrano, the race leader, but for how long? Because through the tunnel they go into the braking zone of 14. Lopez is close, but I think he's just biding his time, isn't he?
He just let off there at the end of the straight. You saw him just, the acceleration kind of stopped. I think just thought better of it. I'll stay here for now, he says. You know, there's no point passing at the moment. And the absolute worst thing that could happen is if a Coque goes for a move, maybe misjudges it, and then it could take them both out of contention. But right now, it is a Spanish 1-2-3 to the delight of the home audience here as Coque Lopez again, you see, getting close. This is just the experience, I think, paying off. He knows it's not time to strike. Maybe on the last lap. Right now, just stay where we are, try and build a gap, and try and make sure I'm close enough to the guy in front to make a move.
And the crucial thing is, if they start squabbling amongst one another, it could bring them into the clutches of Lopez behind as well. Now, here is Daniel Penco on the back of Randall Haywood. This is coming across to the timing line last time around. Penco here looking for the inside line on the American driver. He's going to make that stick really nicely on the brakes into there. Runs it a little bit hot, but just manages to gather it all up. The Spaniard goes through. Beauvoir and Marza, a warning there for that incident that we saw last time around between the two. So nothing really to worry about, just a slight slap on the wrist. Have to say, though, Lopez has managed to gap these two there now as well. So have they been squabbling again, or have they made a mistake or something along the lines of that? Because Lopez has now got a second of an advantage.
I'll tell you, it all started with that contact. They gave Lopez a little bit of a run onto the straight, and that's all we needed to break the toe and then put away from these guys. And since then, they've been sort of fighting a little bit, as you said, so the gap has increased. So Baptiste Beauvoir no longer has that safety buffer down the straight. He no longer has a 60. He's having to come up attack for Mars. He's going up to the inside. Beauvoir brakes very late to make sure there's not going to be an option for Marza. But you see there, Marza just doing the old trick of getting in the mirrors. He brakes to the inside a bit, says, hey, listen, I'm here, look at me, I'm here.
Those three trophies you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Top three drivers from the grand final here tonight will be taking them home. Top four will be progressing through into the grand final. 5th to 10th into the repechage. 11th and down, which at the moment is Thomas Laboutelet, will not be going any further here tonight. So 3 laps now remain as we ride on board here with Coque Lopez, Nations Cup champion of 2022. Possible opportunity for him to retain that crown here this weekend as well. So we're all sort of beginning to get a bit pensive and settle down. I have to say, not going the way of another Spaniard, though. Daniel Penco was up in 6th place a few moments ago. He's just dropped down into 8th position there as well. And also Randall Haywood down into 9th place. So I wonder if those two have had a coming together, perhaps.
Yeah, possibility.
Exactly that. There we go, under investigation.
Look at that.
Oh, to get crystal ball.
Like you know what you're doing.
Draw the lottery numbers for next week as well, while I'm at it.
No, I'm good. not from you. Anyway, here is the battle that's been going on all race, Serrano and Coque Lopez. And again, will we see Coque Lopez just wait, just lift at the end of the straight here. So I think the magic number is about 3.5 tenths down here is enough to be close enough to have a go at the end of the straight. So here's a replay of what happened between Haywood and Penco. We mentioned this a minute ago. Penco goes defensive on the inside. Haywood tries to do the same, cuts back. Oh, a little bit of moving around there on the brakes, I think, there. From Penco, I'd say. But you see how Haywood goes, you know what, sorry, mate, you can come through. Kawakami was like, all right, I'll have both of you then. And so does Struick as well. So actually, slowing down and letting him through cost them all quite a few places. And for Struick, he's now back up into P7 where he started.
Well, the advantage for those drivers is that they won't be out of contention for the repechage race. So we see a change of the race lead here. Serrano versus Lopez down the start-finish straight. Lopez, once again, they're backing off. I wondered if he was going to go for the move. But just going back to that earlier point, Penco and Haywood will be going through into the repechage. But, of course, this will affect their grid position. Now, they've dropped a few places down. So they're going to be mired right in the pack. And, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but the repechage is going to be pretty spicy and we reckon fairly action-packed. So let's see how that all works out. And they're all sort of tumbling down the order. Haywood, I think, has got into some more bother as he now drops down to 11th place and Laboutelet up into 8th position. So there were 4 drivers all pretty close to one another. We'll have to have a look at a replay and see if we can piece together exactly what happened. But at the moment, it's Randall Haywood who is now out. And we were singing his praises not 8 laps ago where he was right up into 6th place on the opening lap.
I did speak to Randall Haywood before the race and said, you know what, I'm glad to be here, happy to be part of, you know, the GAZOO Racing GT Cup, but I am focusing on the manufacturer series. And Mazda, hey, he's got a penalty. Picked that up from somewhere. I missed that just now. So that's going to give Baptiste Beauvoir a little bit of breathing room now in P4. And maybe takes away that battle for fourth. But anyway, here comes Coque López and Serrano, and López now looking up the inside and being... It seemed like Serrano gave that to him there, maybe just with the cutback. Look how these guys are working together at this point. They know that it's better just to sort of over under each other. The crowd loves it, but I think they're just working together at this point. But for how much longer as we now come on, Tom, to the final lap of the race? And look who's behind where he wants to be, Coque López.
Well, let's see what happens then. Down the start-finish straight we go into the slipstream. López going for the outside line versus Jose Serrano. 2 by 2 they go. Wing mirror to wing mirror in towards the first corner. Rama picking up a 2-second penalty. That's clearly what happened there to Randall Hayward. So that's going to drop him down behind the American driver and possibly out of a chance to go any further here tonight. But Serrano back through into the race lead. López, though, his best opportunity is going to be surely turn 14 into that heavy braking zone off of the back straight. He sits in the wheel tracks of his countrymen. It's going to be all about the exit out of turn 10, surely.
Tell you what, for Alex López behind this fight, he's now been caught by Baptiste Beauvoir fairly substantially. So it might not be that Spanish 1-2-3 that the home crowd want. Baptiste may be able just to steal that away from them. But look at this. Serrano's had an amazing middle sector, managed to gap Coque López. We saw him fighting with the wheel there. So maybe a few mistakes from Coque. And now down the back straight, I don't think he's quite close enough. He'll have the draft, he's going to get closer and closer. But 5/10 is the gap. It's going to have to be a big lunge now from Coque López. Will he be able to make the move? He is closing slightly, but I think he's too far away, Tom.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Jimmy. He's going to have to settle for second best. Has a half look there to the inside, but it's not going to be a move that sticks on his compatriot there. It's going to be a drag to the line. Oh, wiggle on the exit of 14 there for López. That's surely his race run through the final couple of corners we go. What a drive from Jose Serrano, second on the grid to first at the checkered flag. The Spaniard wins on home soil, making it 2 wins for the Spanish nation here at the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup in semi-final B. It's a Spanish 1-2-3 as well, with Coque López finishing ahead of Alex López. Baptiste Beauvoir is the last of the drivers to automatically qualify for the grand final. It's not over further down as well between Hayward and Penko to the timing line, and Penko just managing to get the better of the American driver. We will sadly say goodbye to Rama as well. The Indonesian will go no further here tonight, but what a really interesting end to that race. We all thought that Coque was going to have a challenge for position there, Jimmy, but it didn't work out to be for him right when it mattered.
No, not quite close enough there. A few mistakes on the last lap, I think, put pay to that chance of a victory. But I tell you what, it's looking very good for the Spanish here at Barcelona. 4 of their drivers now through to the grand final automatically. So if it's not a Spanish victory here today, I think it's probably going to be a riot, Tom, to be honest.
Well, they've certainly shown their cards early, haven't they? And that was a really strong drive from both Jose Serrano, Coque López, but also, let's not forget, Alex López, a name that we're not familiar with seeing in the Gran Turismo World Series up until this point, qualified here for the GAZOO Racing GT Cup. Finished third. What a great result in his first ever race.
Yeah, Bro turns up and beats a lot of very established names, which I think is extremely impressive and definitely a feat not to be ignored. Here are some highlights, and here's what sort of put Thomas Abutler out of the race. A bit of contact with Kanata Kawakami, which would put him right to the back of the grid, and also catch up Josh Struik there, the Australian driver.
Yeah, Struik there with no room to go. As you see, López here challenging on Martin Mazda. This is at the start of the second lap. It all got a bit argy-bargy, didn't it here? 3 drivers squabbling for positions. Baptiste Beauvoir decided to join in the party as well. At the halfway stage, Serrano began to show his hand, challenged López for the race lead for the first time as Beauvoir and Mazda went 2 by 2 at around the same sort of time as well. Beauvoir getting ahead of the Argentinian driver. It was really audacious racing that allowed López, Alex López that is, to clear off out in front. We saw a bit of under and over between López and Serrano at the penultimate lap, and as we started the final lap, you wondered whether Coque would be able to challenge, but it proved not to be the case, and Jose Serrano taking the victory.
And Baptiste Beauvoir very nearly taking third place at the line there, but you can see great sportsmanship between the 2 Spanish drivers. Of course, they're here together representing Spain, so amazing to see them all together. But we're going out to Jules now for our interview with our winner, Jose Serrano.
Jose, let's give a big round of applause. That was some amazing driving. I mean, I don't want to say it's suspicious, but Spain is doing very well when we're in Barcelona, huh?
Bueno, José, que creo que España lo está haciendo un poco bien aquí en Barcelona, ¿no?
Bueno, la verdad que tanto Paul como Coque como Alex que hemos clasificado esta tarde, pues lo estamos haciendo bastante bien porque aquí estamos en España, es la mejor afición del mundo, así que es increíble.
So yeah, incredible. Already Paul, Coque, myself, and Alex already qualified for the grand final. So yeah, spectacular, and what atmosphere with the best ground as possible. So incredible.
Yeah, it looked like a really comfortable race. I mean, Coque came for you like a little bit, but he didn't go too crazy, didn't push too hard.
Bueno, se os ha visto muy cómodos tanto a Coque y a ti. No parecía que te quería atacar mucho. ¿Cómo ha sido la carrera con Coque?
Bueno, al principio ha sido un poco de gestión con la distancia sobre Coque y el grupo de atrás que se estaba peleando. Y luego al final hemos decidido pelear un poco porque claro, es al final de carrera y la verdad que hay que pelear hasta el final.
Yeah, well, at the beginning, Coque and myself tried to put a gap against the others and make a gap to stay out of trouble. But we talked before the race that after, if that happened, half the race we could fight each other. And it was a nice and clean battle, but yeah, it was great.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, coming fresh from Amsterdam, are you going to try and win everything this time?
Bueno, viniendo de Ámsterdam dominando, que vas a intentar ganar todo, ¿no? Claro.
Yo siempre voy a ganar, siempre. La gente lo sabe, la gente lo sabe.
Yeah, I always try to win everything as usual, no? It's my dream.
Well, congratulations. Good luck in the grand final. Let's give it one more time for Jose Serrano!
¡Vamos!
Well, huge.
That was a really good race.
Huge congratulations there to Jose Serrano for taking a very well-deserved victory here tonight. Good to see that he was in cahoots there with Coque López right until the checkered flag. A top three for the Spaniards in the semi-final being Serrano, López, Coque that is in second, Alex López in third. Both War is the last of the automatic qualifiers for the grand final. In the repechage, we'll see Marza, Kawakami, Struik, Labutale, Penko and Hayward. Sadly, we will say goodbye to the Indonesian driver Rama, who will go no further here tonight as a count of him finishing in 11th place. So, semi-final B, that's done and dusted. It's history as far as we're concerned here tonight. Over to the repechage. Now, we like to throw in a few cat amongst the pigeons, and this is going to be certainly one to look forward to. Here is the starting grid, just to remind you of how it will line up. These are the 12 drivers who will go into the race, but only 4, Jimmy, will go through into the grand final.
That's right, and some very big names there. No, wasn't expecting to see Miyazono here. Marza, I think, had the pace definitely to go through into the next race as well. But a bit further down, Guy Barber there as well. Randall Hayward, although he didn't have a good semi-final, we know he likes these tricky conditions, and a few big names there you wouldn't quite expect.
Exactly. Well, if you've been playing Gran Turismo 7 over the last couple of months, you'll know that Lake Louise has joined the circuit list. This is a snow circuit, and my goodness me, are we looking forward to this. The Toyota GR Yaris is the car we're going to be on. Snow tyres, 5 laps, 4 drivers out of 12 that will go through. This is going to be chaos to the extreme.
Meme race. That's what it is. It's going to be a lot of fun, this. It's a very, very tricky circuit. And I think given that these guys are going to be racing each other, it's probably a decent idea that we maybe look into it a little bit more detail. I actually drove this recently myself in preparation for this event. And I've got to say, it's not as easy as it looks.
Well, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? We're really looking forward to seeing what is going to happen over the course of this race. But to see just how difficult these conditions are, we sent this guy out to have a look and find out what it's all about.
Yeah, so welcome to Lake Louise, a very, very tricky circuit. Snow is not a surface I'm used to driving on. So we thought we'd put together a few little tips for you. So T1, very, very long right-hander. You want to stay on the outside, carry that momentum. Ignore this guy, Jay Broadbent, I don't know who he is, but cutting across the inside. You want to stay outside as long as possible, carry all that speed, and really prioritize traction. Speaking of traction, the middle sector here, all about using that camber. We're going to come around this right-hander here, and you're going to see basically a wall of snow in front of you. And because we have such little grip in this car, even with a 4-wheel drive on the snowy surface, it's important to use the camber to hook the car in and give you almost a slingshot on the way out there, really using that 4-wheel drive. These guys are not allowed to use the handbrakes in this, so rotating the car is a lot more difficult to look, so use anything to your advantage. This camber, definitely a great example of that. And I think probably one of the most important corners in the circuit here, the most important complexes, the last sector, the final corner. You've got to focus on your exit here, because it's a massive run down the straight. And any mistake, any lack of speed you carry through here is going to run all the way down towards T1. So you've got to sacrifice that first left-hander and then really use all the circuit for the right-hander. I could have got a bit closer to the wall there, but come on. I'm not one of these four guys here. I think I did okay. I did all right.
Jimmy, we've both owned a GR Yaris. You've still got your GR Yaris. Are you going to be going out and doing this?
No.
It's snowing in the UK at the moment. I just wonder whether that was something that was on your radar. But, I mean, what a car this is. 1.6 litre, 3-cylinder engine producing over 260 horsepower. 4-wheel drive as well. It is an absolute pocket rocket, a rally car for the road in every sense of the term.
Yeah, or for the snow, as it turns out here, of course, at Lake Louise. Now, imagine doing that on your own. Then imagine sharing the circuit with a whole bunch of other Gran Turismo elite drivers. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are about ready then to go for the Repechage race. Let's head over to our commentary box because we need to get ready for this one. It is going to be spicy. 12 drivers in the frame, 4 that will go through. Let's see what is going to happen for our last chance qualifier, the Repechage race. And don't forget, you can join us in any of the 7 languages which we're broadcasting in here tonight as well. We're in French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Japanese, as well as here in English as well. Looking forward to seeing what the other commentators are going to make of this race. I am sure it is going to be hugely exciting as the drivers are ready, and we are now ready for the Repechage race here at Lake Louise. It is Takuma Miyazono who lines this one up on pole position. Alongside on the front row is Martin Marza. Second row of the grid is headed by Lucas Spinelli, the Brazilian. Next up, you've got Kanata Kawakami, very unlucky in his semi-final. Mehdi Hafidi, the Frenchman, lines up P5. Next up on the grid is Joshua Struick, also unlucky in that second semi-final. Busnelli lining up in 7th position. Then you've got Thomas Leboutelet, the second of the Frenchmen, on the grid. Guy Barbara, the Australian, lines up P9. Rounding out the top 10 is Daniel Penko. And the final row of the grid is Kindle. And lining up alongside him is Randall Hayward. Now, it's the only standing start we've got of the event. Let's see what is going to happen here at Lake Louise. We're waiting for the 5 red lights to come on. The Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup Repechage race. It's go! Good start then from Takuma Miyazono as Marza tries to duck in behind him. Keep an eye out for Lucas Spinelli as well. It's going to be chaos, I'm sure, down towards the first corner. There's already contact there with Hafidi and Kawakami and Struick as well as they come down towards the first corner. Oh, look at this as we go through on board here. Takuma Miyazono. Struick going for the high line on the outside. Marza off into the snowbank there, and Struick there already with a 1.5 second penalty for riding the wall on the outside. Pick your braking point in towards these next right and left-handers, but a dream start from the front for Takuma Miyazono. He leads the way.
Predictably, absolute chaos at T1 there. We couldn't quite keep out of all of it. We'll try and bring some of it to be good, but Miyazono, as you say, in the right place there, ahead of all the carnage, is able to keep ahead, and the stewards there just saying, get that whole first corner. We're going to look at that, I think, because it's oh, what an awesome shot that is. All these Yarises coming in sideways there, and the inside Hafidi trying the inside line through past Kindell, up into 5th place. Guy Barbara there in 4th as well. That's where he wants to be. That'll put him through to the final. And Penko there making a bold move on Hafidi. So it seems that right now it's every man for himself in the midfield. But if you can get away from this, if you can get away from this squabbling, that's where the time's going to come, I think.
So through in towards this long right-hander. Leboutelet there on the inside of Penko, trying to make a move stick on the inside of the Spaniard. Is he going to be able to do that and join his compatriot Mehdi Hafidi? No, not quite. Penko's along the long way around the outside, and that works. You can ride the outside of this circuit and manage to get just as much traction as you might do on the inside, but they're all biffing into the wall on the outside as we come through into the left-hander. Miyazono pulling out already 2 seconds before the end of this first lap. That's quite astonishing from the Japanese driver. Let's have a look at the chaos down towards the first corner. Here's Struick. He picked up a 1.5 second penalty, threading the over needle. We're 4 wide down to the first corner. He's going to go all the way to the wall on the outside. That's where he picked up that 1.5 second penalty. He gets awarded automatically in game because he gained an unfair advantage there as everybody else was scrabbling for grip on the inside of the corner.
I don't agree with that. He got pushed into the barrier by the guy behind him, and he couldn't afford it. That wasn't his fault. But unfortunately, as you say, Tom, it is an automatic system there, and Penko there also picking up a 2 second penalty. So the stewards there taking a dim view of all this contact that's happened so far. But you know, it's one of these races where it's this is a lot harder than it looks just to drive around on its own. Imagine doing it and fighting for position in an event of this caliber here. For Miyazono, dream start for him and Benelli. Guy Barber as well, 3rd place. What a result so far for him. He's got to carry on for a few more laps to keep it where it is though. And the Boutelet in front just about looking up the inside of Penko has got a penalty. Oh my word, they come so close here to contact every corner. It really is a difficult circuit
this long left-hander reminds me of the banked corner at Zandvoort, you know, where they ride it high around the outside through there. You can see Boutelet trying that line. Now Barbara is on the back of Benelli. He's side by side with Benelli. This is quite inspired as Boutelet picks up a 1-second penalty. We're side by side for second place here. He's going to go the long way around the outside. There is Guy Barbara. Can he make it stick and find traction on the outside of the corner? Well, he's certainly sliding his way through. Oh, up and over from Guy Barbara. Absolute cream and almonds for him as he goes up into second.
What a race this is from Guy Barbara. I mean, we've seen him do well at events in the past, but right now he's putting on an absolute clinic. A great race. I mean, so far it's him and Benelli almost coming to blows there, having to just tip the car into the corner. You have to kind of predict where the car's going to end up after you turn in on this snow circuit. It's very, very tricky conditions out there for these guys, but some just showing their ability. Miyazono 3.5 seconds ahead of anyone, and those who may be a bit more learned at these tricky conditions are now really starting to show their talent. Guy Barbara there and Benelli just about see him cutting through the snow coming down towards T1. Cars massively sideways. I think Benelli there touched the wall, trying a little bit too hard, just touching the wall of the rear part of his car there, but still attached to the rear of Guy Barbara.
Yeah, so that will cost Benelli just a fraction of time as he slides his way through. The thing is, it can often look like he's setting up a move for the inside line, but that's just the difference in lines that they take through these series of corners. On board we ride here with the Brazilian driver, Guy Barbara it is, who sits in second place for the moment. Penalties behind for the two Frenchmen of Hafidi and Boutelet meanwhile.
There's the penalty there for Benelli as well. I was going to say that if Benelli is clever, he's not going to fight with Barbara now, because they've both got very, very similar pace, and they've got a gap behind them. They're both going to go through the funnel this way. I know it's going to be a slightly worse grid stop for Benelli, but what is worse than that? Colliding with Barbara and then both not getting through the final.
Yeah, that's
but he's running away. Barbara is rocketing away from Benelli now. A second is the gap.
Yeah, 3.7 seconds behind Takuma Miyazono, who's in a different postcode compared to everybody else as it stands. There is Marza, who is behind in 4th position. Under investigation are Mehdi Hafidi and Martin Marza then, so I wonder whether there may be another penalty coming the way of one of those drivers. We didn't see exactly what happened in terms of that incident, but there's plenty of opportunity for the stewards to try and work out exactly what is going on. Through the left-hander we go with Takuma Miyazono, and this has been something of an exhibition of a drive for the Japanese driver, who leads the way quite commandingly and has done since the lights went green.
See, they're just really perfecting that exit, and I've got to say, looking at the time of the Guy Barbara is catching Takuma Miyazono. He's taken half a second out of him since I last saw the gap, so Guy Barbara is putting onto the back now of Miyazono, but it's only 2 laps to go. I don't think he's quite got the pace to catch him, but if I was Guy Barbara now, I'd just be focusing on getting round and getting the car to the finish line here, because every corner is an opportunity to pick up a penalty if you're not careful.
Yeah, this is quite an inspired race from Guy Barbara. It looked like he was a bit down in the doldrums, as you would begin to expect. 7 places he's made up from where he started, so that is an amazing feat of progress for the Australian driver, and let's see whether he can continue in that ascension through the field. If he can close up into the back of Miyazono, the gap has now increased to over 4 seconds between the top two. As we look here at Daniel Penko, he picked up a penalty earlier on. He's got Boutelet in front, he's got Busnelli behind, as well as Kindle, who also in turn has got a red dot flashing next to his name, so that is a penalty for the American driver. So plenty of things to talk about here in this race, and it's on the penultimate lap already.
I love that shot. I mean, I know there's people coming towards the penalties, which is always a little bit scary. but that's a great shot, seeing with his car sideways there, and Penko there, the Spanish driver, not quite given up just yet. It is only the top 4 going through here. Everybody else, that is their event done, hopping over the bumps here in these GR Yaris's. The only addition really over stock are the snow tyres. Otherwise, it is a stock Yaris. And handling the conditions well, it seems. Here is Hafidi, who's currently in the last spot, having a fight with Martin Marza, who's lost that last spot there. So I think maybe a mistake there we didn't quite see on camera.
Yeah, I think you could be absolutely spot on there. So let's see whether Marza is going to be able to try and retaliate. He goes for that long way around the outside. Can he make that stick? Oh, he's got great traction through the second phase of that corner. He's going to go through into the right-hander with the inside line. And is he going to be able to hold firm? Well, Hafidi's there on his outside. Marza's got the inside line and manages to make it stick. So Martin Marza with an absolutely brilliant couple of corners going up through into fourth position. Can Hafidi now retaliate as we begin the final lap? As they come down the start-finish straight, the Frenchman here on the inside, Marza on the outside. They're 2x2 into turn one. Who's going to be last of the late breakers to get optimum traction? Well, Hafidi with the inside line and the Frenchman back through into fourth for now, but Marza with the up and under trying to retaliate immediately.
Sorry, Tom, there was contact there on the exit, and I think that he tried, as you say, to go for the undercut, but Hafidi just sort of sat on the line, and Marza had nowhere to go there. But very, very good racing here for the last spot in the grand final, with Takuma Miyazono seemingly going to win it. Guy Barber second and Benelli in third, but the battle for the last slot is here. Hafidi and Marza. Marza been on the outside for a long time. Behind them, it's a pretty big gap. But I think I was saying that now on the outside, Marza looking for the earlier apex there to try and get to the end of the corner before Hafidi. But good defensive driving from Hafidi so far. There's not really many more slots that Marza could go for an overtake here.
Yeah, there's still a couple of opportunities here for these positions to change, but Hafidi trying to build out enough of an advantage to stop Marza from attacking him as they come through into the final series of corners. This long right-hander awaits the drivers. No need to worry about the likes of Labutale and Busnelli behind, as we see Hafidi just holding firm in fourth position for now. Meanwhile, through into the final corner comes the race leader, Takuma Miyazono. 6.2 seconds he has as he exits the last turn over 5 laps. That is an astonishing achievement as Takuma Miyazono takes the checkered flag to win the Repechage race here at Lake Louise for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. Guy Barbara makes 7 places up from where he started to take second position. Lucas Benelli will come across the timing line in third place, and it is Mehdi Hafidi, the last of the drivers, who will go through into the grand final here tonight. Everybody from 5th place and down we will not see any more of here this evening, but what a quite brilliant race from Takuma Miyazono, an absolute exhibition from Miyazono, exactly what we have seen from him in years gone by. 2020, if you remember, he managed to do the triple in terms of the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup, the Manufacturers Cup, and also the Nations Cup. And now he's managed to get himself into the grand final tonight with an amazing performance.
Yeah, I mean, just showing why he's such an accomplished GT driver. But of course, big shout out to Guy Barbara, +7 in that race. And I saw him go over the line, arms in the air. He was very, very happy with that performance. Benelli in third, and our last qualifier, Hafidi, there in fourth position. Here are your highlights. So T1, I think it's fair to say, it was a little bit chaotic, Tom.
Yeah, it certainly was that. That was an understatement. Look at it, 5 wide. Oh, that's what happened to Busnelli. We didn't see. We saw his arms waving in the air. So it was Labutale that got into the back of Struick then, and that's what caused all the chaos that unfolded behind. Kawakami got biffed round there too. I tell you what, the stewards were keeping themselves busy. Oh, Busnelli just wrong place, wrong time.
No idea what he said there, but I think it was, I didn't enjoy that. Which I think
something gesticulating in Italian, I think, but it was exactly what happened there. Marza, meanwhile, versus Hafidi. We saw this in the battle for the last spot to qualify for the grand final. That up and over move there from Marza was quite spectacular, but what a drive. I'm running up superlatives to talk about Takuma Miyazono taking the checkered flag by some 6 seconds over the emphatic Guy Barbara. He'll be delighted with that one, the Australian, after making 7 places up from his starting position on the grid. So Miyazono, Barbara, Benelli, Hafidi go through into the grand final. Marza tried as hard as he could, but it's not good enough, I'm afraid to say. Labutale, Penko, Busnelli, Kawakami, Kindle, Struick, and Hayward will go no further here tonight. JB, any big surprises of names that didn't make it through there?
I think obviously Marza is a big one for us. I think he had a lot of speed in both races he was in, but he just wasn't quite in the right place at the right time. And it's easy in these races to get just really dialed in with, like, right, I've got to do the fastest lap possible. But you're in a race against other drivers who are also out there to try and get through. And I think just maybe didn't position the car as well as he could there.
Well, Takuma Miyazono is our winner. He is now on the floor talking to Jules.
Well, just before I speak to Takuma Miyazono, can I just say, everybody who makes the decisions about these things, now we always knew the repechage was going to be really spicy, but you put them all on snow? That was madness, but we loved it. Can I just say, can we give a massive round of applause to Takuma Miyazono for winning? Because I have to tell you, about 60 minutes ago, he was asleep on a couch backstage. You were asleep.
ソファーの上で。いや、あのおかげで今回、はい、敗者復活戦なんですけど優勝できたかなと思うので、まあちゃんと休憩したおかげもあったのかなと思います。
Yeah, I think that that nap actually gave me the strength to win the repechage, so I think that was good that I got some rest there.
So, I mean, I have to say, I was surprised to see you in the repechage. You're not normally in the repechage, but your drive shows why you shouldn't have been in there. That was a beautiful drive.
いや普通だったらレペチャージなんかに宮園さんが走るなんて全然思ってなかったんですけど、でもまあ、レペチャージの走りを見たらやっぱり宮園さんはやっぱりレペチャージにいるべきじゃないドライバーだなと思いました。
いや本当は、準決勝勝ってこうやってインタビュー受けたかったんですけど、まあ、ただすごくこの組み合わせが好きでずっと練習していてすごい自信もあったんで、本当に、勝ててよかったなと思います。
Yeah, so I mean, I should have gone from the semifinal directly to the grand final, but but I really like this track and I practice it quite a bit. So I'm glad I was able to do well and win.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've had Lake Louise in the. So it was your track. This was your day.
じゃあもうレイクリリース入ったばっかりのコースなんで、もう準備万端で、まあ絶対勝てるとは思ってたんですね。
はい。でもちょっとね、ボーアー選手がすごい速かったので、彼がいたら厳しかったかもしれないんですけど、まあでも決勝でまた戦えるのですごい楽しみにしてます。
Yeah, I think if Boboa was on this track, he's really fast here, so I would have been in trouble maybe. But I'll see him again in the grand final.
Most importantly, though, was it fun?
楽しいですか？でもこのコースって。
いやすごい楽しかったんでちょっとこう敗者復活戦に回ったのはすごい残念だったんですけど、正直ちょっと走れて楽しいなっていう気持ちもありました。
Yeah, so it's extremely fun, and it's kind of unfortunate that I have to come up from the repechage, but it was fun to do it, so it's okay.
Well, congratulations! Let's give Takuma a massive round of applause. Are you ready to see the grand final? Yes. Let's chuck it to Tom and Jimmy.
Cheers, Jules. They're as excited as we are here in the comms box. An amazing race. Huge congratulations to Takuma Miyazono from an incredible performance. The grand final, though, awaits our 12 drivers, and here is how they will line up on the grid. Paul Ura, Jose Serrano on the front row, Coque López on row 2, Carrazza and Alex Lopez on row 3, Caden Roach and Baptiste Beauvoir on row 4, Takuma Miyazono, Guy Barbara on row 5, and then row 6 is Lucas Bonelli and Mehdi Hafidi. What do you make of that one, JB?
It's looking pretty good if you're a Spaniard here tonight, I think, isn't it? So here's our circuit. Of course, it had to be. We're racing at Catalunya, no chicane, the correct layout, might I add. Look at the car, it's Toyota GR 010 hybrid from 2021. What a machine, 23 laps, a bit more of an endurance style race, this one, with lots of tyre compounds to choose from, but only 2 need to be used.
23 laps for the drivers, as you say. Interesting to see that strategy is going to come into play for the first time here tonight in terms of the tyres as well. They must use at least 2 of the tyre compounds, and very excited to see what this is all going to be about. This is the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, just a stone's throw away from where we are here in the centre of Barcelona, and it is an incredible circuit. There's only a few overtaking opportunities though. You got down into T1 and you got down into T10 though, really, so drivers are going to have to bide their time quite carefully, I reckon.
Yeah, especially in these downforce-based cars as prototypes. There's going to be a lot of dirty air in this, so it's all about, as you say, biding your time, choosing your opportunities wisely and not burning those tyres up. Really easy to do that when you're following someone so closely.
Absolutely. Well, let's meet our drivers then for the grand final here tonight. They're ready, 12 of them, to take to the stage. Only one will be crowned as the world champion though. Please give it up from France, it's Mehdi Hafidi! The Frenchman takes his place on the stage here in Barcelona. And we shift our attention over to the man who will be lining up 11th on the grid. Give it up from Brazil, it's Lucas Bonelli! After a quite incredible performance in the repechage race, from Australia, it's Guy Barbara! A dominant win in the repechage race just a few moments ago sees him through to the grand final. From Japan, it's Takuma Miyazono! Lining up 8 on the grid. Please give it up from France. It is Baptiste Beauvoir. A newcomer to the Gran Turismo World Series. Please give it up from the United States of America. It's Kalen Roach. And I'm sure the Spanish crowd here are going to love this. Next up, from Spain, give it up for Alex Lopez! Lining up 5th on the grid in the grand final for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. Please give it up from Brazil for Adriano Carrazza! Fourth on the grid here tonight for the grand final from Spain. It is Coque López! And now we move into our top 3. Please give it up from Japan. It is Ryota Kokuman! And now then, the top 2 drivers who will be lining up on the grid from the front row in the grand final. From Spain, it's Jose Serrano! And last but by no means certainly least, from Spain, give it your all for Podium! And now, ladies and gentlemen, your respect please for the national anthem of our host nation here in Spain. The national anthem of Spain. Well, welcome to Barcelona. If you have just joined us, it is the Gran Turismo World Series World Finals in 2023. It is the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup as well. What a city this is. What an atmosphere we've got here tonight as well. Jimmy Broadbent, we've seen 3 spectacular races so far. This grand final can only make things better, surely.
Yeah, we saved the best for last. If you just joined now, I mean, you've missed some good races, but you're here at the right time. An amazing home crowd here in Barcelona. Pretty much every overtake has been met with a massive roar, which is why we've got to go to our commentary booth. We've got to try and drown them out a little bit, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this grand final.
Absolutely. Well, before we get this grand final underway for the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup, we're going to head down to Julia, who is with Kazuki Nakajima.
Great to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah, great to be back here, and yeah, congratulations to all the drivers and especially all the fans creating such a atmosphere. So it's
you
really
guys are
great
too. Yeah,
really impressive.
What have you thought of the driving here today? Like the races so far, you've seen some good skills from our drivers?
Yeah, the semi-final was really intense and close, and was really exciting to watch. And yeah, I mean, it shows you know, the skills of the drivers, level of the drivers are so high. So I'm really impressed.
Talk to us a little bit about some of Toyota GAZOO's like activities that they've been doing this year. They've been doing some good stuff.
Actually, for Toyota GAZOO Racing, it was a great year this year. We have won WRC, WEC, World Rally Championship, even Super GT, Super Formula. So we have won many different championships. So it has been great, and it's really great to finish the year with this event. And let's hope that we will have a great race.
It's always good when you list all the good things. Like you have to go like, okay, so there's this, there's this. You know, it's not just one thing. How so boring. I know you guys have done a lot for your driver development program, and obviously there are a lot of drivers here who, you know, be like, oh hey,
I really think this platform here, it's a good, how to say, base to find new talent. And for example, I saw Eagle before, but I mean, he's doing Super GT this year, Super Formula Light, so he's doing a real race, and we see, you know, the talent like him from here. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for the future.
I mean, because obviously, you know, it's a very different story from like, you know, from the era, you know, you were racing cars and stuff. So do you think it's a good thing? Is it quite nice because it means you have like a bigger pool of talent? It's not, you know, you can bring people from all over the world, from anywhere, right?
I think it's really true, and I really see all the drivers, they are true car lover as well. So it's all about, it's not really gaming, it's real driving is going on here. And yeah, we have so many good drivers, talents, and it's such a great place to find a new talent.
What would be a little bit of advice you would give to our drivers? Do you have any advice? What's your top tips, you know?
Well, yeah, the car they will drive is GL010, which is something I used to drive, and we run this car in World Endurance Championship. But we, never run this car at Barcelona, so probably they know better than me. So I really hope that they will have they will basically enjoy the hypercar, they will enjoy the race, and they will hope that they have a great race and enjoy the pressure.
Is this your fave car? Is this your favorite?
It's a nice car, and also I like the track as well. So it's a nice track. So it's long race. So
Nakajima-san's going to be watching, guys. So be really good. Is the point? Be really, really good. Nakajima-san, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Let's get this underway, shall we? Come on.
Amazing to hear there from Kazuki Nakajima. The Toyota GR010 hybrid then, a twin-turbo hybrid car, all-wheel drive, 670 horsepower, 1,040 kilograms. JB, the numbers don't do this thing justice.
This is the goal, isn't it? For anyone who's into endurance-style racing, this sort of car is the absolute peak. Capable of insane acceleration and insane efficiency as well. These things will go for, you know, this run 24 hours Le Mans numerous times, and it's just one of his cars that I always get a little bit dumbfounded by when I see it. Every time I'm like, whoa, scary.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier on. We're talking about strategy, and of course tyre strategy comes into play for this race. They've got to use at least 2 of the tyre compounds. This is what we're predicting, I say what we're predicting, what the team at Polyphony have predicted for this one. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go that way. What do you reckon is going to happen here?
I don't think we're going to see a 2-stop, first of all. I think a 1-stop's going to be the way to go. I mean, because you have to think with pit stops, that the more pit stops you make, the bigger risk something goes wrong on the way in, on the way out. There are very strict pit line penalties here at the GT World Series events, as there should be. But I think we'll see the usual game of the racing hard tyre is lava, get rid of it as soon as possible, and then go for the racing medium as quick as possible.
Well, we are about ready to go then for the grand finals of the GRGT Cup here for the World Finals in Barcelona. And we're going to head over to our box. I tell you what, it's been such a long night that I'm getting tired of talking and walking at the same time. But we are live in 7 different languages here tonight. In German, in French, in Spanish, in Italian, in Portuguese, and in Japanese, as well as in English. It is going to be hugely exciting to see what is going to happen here. Answers on a postcard, please, because I've got absolutely no idea. 12 drivers going head-to-head, the best in the world in the Toyota GR010. Let's see what is going to happen here tonight. So Pole Euro lines this one up on pole position. Jose Serrano on the front row alongside him. Rios Coquebin lining up P3 on the grid at the head of the second row, and the Spaniard Coque López, to the rapturous applause of the crowd, lining up P4 with Adriano Carrazza alongside him. Alex Lopez, P6 on the grid. Next up is Roach, the American driver. Let's see what Kalen can do from there. 8th place, Baptiste Beauvoir. He knows a thing or two about fighting his way to the front of the field. Takuma Miyazono lines up alongside him. Guy Barbara in P10 with Lucas Benelli in 11th position. And 12th, and finally on the grid, it is Mehdi Hafidi from France. Now, here is our first look at the tyres. Pol Jura, Jose Serrano on the soft compound of tyres. And you can see there, on pit entry and pit exit, drivers will be penalised if they cross the white line. We've seen that happen before.
We did mention that as well. This probably came into our little cubicle here, the box, commentary box, and Pol Jura and Jose Serrano sort of stating their intentions, saying, you know what, we're going to go fast early and try and build a gap. And I think that Jura will be happy to see that Serrano behind has gone for the same strategy. It means he's got a little bit of a rear gunner, and it means that these guys are hopefully going to play the sensible game, get into space on their own, and make their last stint all the more easy. There is Jose Serrano, there is Pol Jura. Massive pressure here in front of a home crowd. Will they deliver? Find out in 23 laps.
Absolutely. Whatever happens here, we're going to be crowning our world champion. Will it be a new champion? Last year, it was Igor Fraga. He's not here tonight. The year before, Tomoaki Yamanaka. Let's see what will happen when the lights go green. 12 drivers going head-to-head, but only one can be crowned as the world champion. Is the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup Grand Final is underway here in Barcelona. Pol Jura leading the field down towards the first corner. A Spanish 1-2 with Jose Serrano in second position. Coquebin and Lopez in third and fourth place, but they are on the medium compound of tyre and could come under pressure on this opening lap from the soft shot. Adriano Carrazza in fifth place. As you would expect, the top two breaking away from Coquebin and Lopez in third and fourth place as they come through turn 3 and turn 4. Let's see whether Carrazza decides to get his elbows out in towards that right-hander.
We tend to find in these endurance-style races that it's a little bit less frantic at the start as people try and just be nice and careful. Carrazza has made up a place, though, up to P4, using that soft tyre. Now has Ryota Coquebin in his sights as he comes down towards the middle part of the circuit.
Yeah, so in towards this chicane. There's very much one at a time through here, but it's up through turn 9 of Kamsa and then in towards turn 10. That's a good overtaking opportunity. Carrazza will have a lot more mid-corner speed with that soft compounded tyre on board. He really needs to make hay whilst the sun shines. Through the right-hander, down the back straight, under investigation, Guy Barbara and Takuma Miyazono for a collision on this opening lap. Further back, Miyazono making a move there on Roach. Carrazza not able to make a pass, though, on Coquebin for third, as the top two already nearly 1.5 seconds clear of this battle for third position here, JB.
Yeah, I think that's what they want at this point. They want to try and get away as quick as possible, use that soft tyre, and we say it a lot of the time, if you're stuck behind someone on the slower compound tyre, as Carrazza is, he's just burning the life out of that soft compound tyre. So I suspect we'll see a move down towards T1 here. He's in the draft. Now look at the speed, nearly 300 kilometers an hour as you go down towards T1. It's 190 mile an hour we're approaching now. Hard on the anchors, past Coquebin like he's standing still. Lopez fancies to go as well. Looks up the inside there, but not quite close enough to make that move stick.
So, Guy Barbara giving you a warning there for colliding with another car. That was the incident that we saw under investigation a few moments ago between himself and Takuma Miyazono, but a slap on the wrist there for the Australian, who sits down in 10th position. Through in towards turn 4 we go. Lopez on the back of Ryota Coquebin. Keep an eye out for Miyazono, who's had a great ascension through the field. 3 places up from where he started. He is on the soft compound of tyre, so you'd expect him to make mincemeat of the likes of Lopez and Coquebin in front, but the thing is, he needs to wait for the right opportunity. You can't just go and send it up the inside through into this chicane.
Bit further back as well with Miyazono. Good start from him so far. He is in that soft compound tyre, so obviously he's going to be a bit faster here, but he has gained 3 places, and like the rest of the field, we always say Miyazono always goes aggressive, and he's doing that right now. Past Coque López in one corner, winning it Coquebin 2 for 1 there for Takuma Miyazono. Better contact though with Ryota Coquebin, his fellow countryman, so the stewards might look at that, but Miyazono not messing around. He's now in pursuit of Carrazza in front, and even after all that, even starting down in 9th position, he's now only about 3.5 seconds off the lead.
Exactly what he needed to do on that soft compound tyre. Had to make hay whilst the sun shone, and now he's going to sort of not necessarily hit a brick wall, but a rate of progress will slow for Takuma Miyazono, because every driver in front of him, Carrazza, Serrano and Jura, are on the soft compound of tyre, so the rate of progress will not be quite as quick as Lopez there with Coquebin going down the start-finish straight. So Lopez into 5th place, Cockburn into 6th position, both while picking up a penalty behind. Can't quite see exactly what that's for. One would assume track limits because we didn't see anything flashing up on the screen. Benelli and Hafidi are under investigation here for colliding with another car. Just a reminder, there are 3 tyre compounds available. You've got the medium, the hard and the soft. They must use at least 2 of the tyre compounds available. Will they do a 2-stopper? Will it be just the 1-stopper? It's going to be really tricky. 23 laps. It's a very technical circuit, this one, and you would expect that these tyres are not going to be able to go the distance for too much longer. What's the time multiplier? Times 6. So 1 lap is the equivalent to 6. They're going to be starting to wear out within about 3 or 4 laps or so.
This is the thing. This is the thing with this sort of racing. When you get to really pushing these downforce cars, you can really use the tyre effectively at the start of a stint, but because of the amount of force that goes through these tyres, especially in the heavy braking zones and the long corners, it's really easy just to take the life out of the tyres. So Paul Euro and Jose Serrano now, they're sort of making the most of the fact that tyre can do this and pushing hard now. So everybody else in the medium compound tyre, same sort of thing, but they want to try and use that longevity a bit. And the reason you start on the medium compound tyre is so you can have a fast finish at the end. Will they be able to just do a one-stop though, medium to soft? I do wonder. It's going to be quite tight, I think, especially in that soft tyre.
I do wonder what's happened also to Caden Roach. He started 5 places ahead of where he is now. He's into 12th place right at the back of the field by some 1.7 seconds. So clearly something has gone on for the American driver after a very promising start to his weekend. It sadly has rather come undone at this particular stage, but it's still very early in this race, still plenty of time for things to change. And this is kind of what we are used to seeing in these sorts of longer races. You get a bit of a frenetic start, drivers on different compounds of tyre making moves. Then it all begins to settle down, and then when the strategies work out in the latter parts of the races, that's where it can get quite exciting, because different drivers will pit at different rates, different driving styles means the tyres will wear at different rates there as well, and that's where it can get very, very spicy.
And we've seen in previous races with this car that when the tyres really start to get worn, I mean, the car handles like a little bit of an elephant. It's all over the place, you know, it's moving around. So, especially on this soft compound, they'll be burning through that quickly. We do have some tyre wear rates available to us. We'll keep them secret for now, though. we don't let anyone know. But if you've just joined us, great starts there from Adriano Perazza and Takuma Miyazono, up 2 and 5 places respectively. What's going on here? So I think we're looking back. Baptiste's both right. 8th is Miyazono. Miyazono there, forcing his way by Lopez. Will that be a penalty, do you think?
I wonder. It was sort of on the limit, wasn't it? There was a smattering of contact. He didn't push Lopez out too wide, but it was a bit of a forceful move, and I wonder whether the stewards might be having a little look at that. Didn't see anything flash up on the screen about an investigation at that particular point, but let's wait and see whether the stewards decide to take another look. Meanwhile, Jose Serrano managing to keep the gap at a constant between himself and his compatriot Paul Ura at about 0.4 of a second. You can see there Baptiste Beauvoir. The Catalonia circuit poses difficulties under the chicanes, requiring patience if you want to nail every chicane.
Well, bro's got to be less patient. He's in P9 right now. Like, you've got to get on with it, mate. You know, it is tricky. It is tricky when you're sort of stuck in the pack, so to speak. There are very limited places around here. He's looking a little bit like he's got interesting driving faces, Baptiste, isn't he?
He's catching flies if he keeps his mouth open too much longer.
That's a concentration face if I've ever seen one. Reminds me of Peter Solberg. You know?
That's a good point. It's a good point.
I'll see. Meanwhile, the Spanish contingent ahead of the race, Ura and Serrano, doing what they need to do. Nice and calm and not fighting. I think that lap time wise they're doing pretty much identical lap times, and both importantly quicker than Karatsa behind. And you see, this is what we were talking about earlier on with this using the tyre. Miyazono, who's come through the field, has used substantially more of those front tyres than the guys in front of him.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Serrano there sitting pretty with 54% of his front tyres left and slightly more of his rears. Takuma Miyazono, Adriano Karatsa, they've taken a lot more life out of those tyres, and you can see just how quickly that tyre life is depleting. 43%. Once you get it under 20%, they are next to useless. You might as well have them on a wheelbarrow, to be honest with you, because you're just not going to be able to find any grip out there. Lopez, the first of the drivers to come into the pit lane, off of the medium compound. Now, what's he going to go on to? Will it be the soft for his middle stint? That's an early stop, especially on a longer life of tyre that you would expect on that medium compound.
I'd be interested to see if this is, I mean, we've sort of nicknamed this a long time ago. Was it Spa 2018 or 2019 in Las Vegas? The Takuma Miyazono spat, where you come in and do something a bit wild. He's gone onto a soft tyre. So maybe we are going to see a two-stop. And importantly now for Lopez, look in front of him. nobody there, completely clear air. So what he can do now is just effectively hot lap, use the most of that soft compound tyre and not have to do what Miyazola did, what Karatsa did, work their way through the field and lose the time. A reminder, of course, that drivers must use 2 or more tyre compounds. So right now, Lopez has actually done that.
Yep, so he has completed what he needed to. But those soft tyres, you can guarantee they're not going to make it to the end of the race. I mean, look at the drivers who started this race on the soft compound tyre. I'm looking at the likes of Pol Euro, Jose Serrano. Those tyres, after just 6 laps, are absolutely toast. So you would imagine he's going to go quite hard now. Alonso and Alex Lopez, I should say, rather, sitting in 12th position. There's a throwback for you, as he manages to just drive his race in clear air for now. Pol Euro, meanwhile, Jose Serrano closing up over the course of this one. It was about 4 or 5 tenths of a second pretty constantly. Now coming down to under 2 tenths of a second. Is Serrano going to make a move here on his compatriot down the start-finish straight? But he pulls out of the slipstream, but I don't think he's going to be making anything too rash in towards turn 1, and indeed he decides better of it.
I think sometimes you just do that to be like, yeah, I just don't want to get the overrun, but I don't want to get off the gas. You know, I don't want to just sit here in the slipstream. So it would be an opportunity to save a bit of fuel, but fuel's not really going to come into this. So actually, I think burning the fuel is to their credit. So you can see Serrano now starting to push Euro along a little bit. In fact, the last lap was about 3 tenths quicker from Jose Serrano. That could be because of the draft behind, of course. He's a bit quicker on the straights than Euro in front. But do you think they're going to switch? Well, there you go. Euro there, was that wide, or did he just give up the pace? I think he just went a little bit wide because he's still side by side with Serrano. Let's see his fellow countryman have it. Serrano goes up into 1st position. So what do you think happened there, Tom?
I reckon Serrano there just thought, I'm going to go for the move. Euro went a little bit wide. I saw him open the steering. I think that was intentional, personally, from Pol Euro. I reckon he meant to do that, and now he just wants to sit in the wheel tracks of Jose Serrano. The thing is, it's all well and good leading the race, but you're punching a hole in the air for the driver behind you. As you said, fuel shouldn't be too much of a concern, but Euro's taken more life out of his tyres compared to Jose Serrano at this point. So I wonder if he just wants to just dial it back a little bit at this sort of mid-stage of the race. Euro, again, just looking a little bit on the raggedy edge at this point compared to Serrano, who's just bided his time really nicely, and he's got more tyre life left underneath him. So now it's a question of whether Jose Serrano is going to be able to pull out an advantage over Euro, or whether Euro just wants to sit in his wheel tracks and just back off and run behind him for a little bit.
Well, I think for me it seems these guys are on the one-stop strategy. They've gone quite long now, coping with a penalty there in the midfield. That's going to be just... Oh, Serrano nearly loops the car there, coming through T2, gets the car all sorts of sideways, gathers it back up again, but maybe those tyres are now starting to go the other way, Tom. So, and the thing is, these guys have been working together all race. They've been together all race, and we are actually seeing an investigation. Was there contact here like before, you think? I thought he just let him through.
No, I think he did as well, but I wonder whether it might have been because there was contact perhaps earlier on the lap that we may not have seen, and then he decided to let them through as a result of that, perhaps.
Maybe not so friendly then in Team Spain, but we'll see. Of course, it's between these two drivers currently. Lap 8 of 23, and you see no further action there. The stewards just go, okay, well, fair enough, don't do it again. You know, and the drivers do see this in game, so they're going to know.
This gives you a really good idea of the speed of these Toyota GR010 cars. Pol Euro there, keeping the car honest at the moment. Less tyre life he has got available to him compared to Jose Serrano, and I wonder whether they may be coming to the pits at the end of this lap, because I don't know if they're going to make it round with any meaningful tyre life left underneath them. Let's see if anybody blinks from the front. No, they don't. So they're going to continue on for as long as they possibly can. Karatsa, meanwhile, also doing the same thing in 3rd.
Just a little something to say that Alex Lopez, lap time-wise, is lapping about a second a lap faster than anyone.
Sorry, Jimmy, just to cut in front of you there, Karatsa and Miyazola do come into the pit lane there, so I thought Karatsa had continued on. It must have been a very late dive into the box there for him, but the two other drivers who started this race on the soft shod compounds and are now going on to what presumably will be either be another soft compound, so they're going to go for soft and then go for the mediums at the end, aren't they? So the slower compound right towards the end of this race will be a 2-stopper.
So we have to wonder then, has maybe Lopez gone a bit early? Will he go for the mediums in the latter stint, because you can't really compete against a medium tyre on a fresh soft tyre? It's just a little bit too fast to do so. But anyway, at the front, it's still business as usual. And as you mentioned before we got condemned to the commentary box, as we're calling it now, if you do go over the white line here, it's going to be quite a strict penalty. And you can see there the tyre life of both Serrano and Euro now at critical levels.
Yeah, it looks like the rental car dashboard of my latest machine, and you can see they are getting very, very worn, Jose Serrano and Pol Euro's tyres, and they're going to have to box at the end of this lap, no doubt.
I think they've gone too long. I think they've gone too long, Tom. I think they've gone past now the usable usable life of that tyre.
Well, look,
just looking
at the laps last time around, Coque López, who was on the mediums, he was a 1:30.2. Serrano and Jura, also on the softs, a 1:30.2 as well. So they're going to have lost a handful of fist over time. They're going to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Absolutely no surprise there. So the top two, Jose Serrano and Pol Jura, come in. Pol Jura with a more of a pronounced gap, 1 second it was at the last timing line as well. So that might have cost Pol Jura quite dearly here, and he might have a lot more work to do come the end of this race. Now, is he going to do the same strategy as Corazza and Miyazono and go soft when he comes into the pit lane? Let's wait and see. Lopez and Cockburn continue on, as do the rest of the medium shod runners. So everybody who started on the soft has pitted, but Serrano and Jura going different. They're going bold, they're going medium for their middle stint.
Where's Corazza? That's the question. These guys were very slow in the last part of our stint. There is Adriano Corazza. The gap has come down. Corazza's got the pace over Jura on the exit. His tyres up at temperature. Sweeps around the outside. No, there's contact between the two as Corazza turns into the space that's occupied by Jura and now almost spins the car. That's a Corazza move that I've ever seen one, Tom.
Yeah, well, Jura was quite entitled to be on the inside line there, in my opinion. He was coming out of the pit lane, had nowhere else to go, and Corazza just kind of turned into a space that didn't really exist. The stewards investigating that instant. The thing is, Jura and Serrano, they're going to be sitting ducks now at this point because, of course, Corazza is on a quicker compound tyre. Personally, if I were him, I'd have been waiting a little bit more patiently because you know you're going to be able to find your way past. The tyres are, what, half a second to a second a lap faster than the medium shod compound. So it's only a matter of when and not if the Brazilian is going to be able to find his way through. And look at the traction he gets on the run up through turn 7, turn 8. And Jura just going to have no answer to this. Corazza's going to just drive by him like he's standing still as they come in towards the breakers into turn 10. Jura's going to try and defend as best as he can. He's going to try and push the Brazilian towards the outside line. Corazza's going to try and switch back here on the inside, but no room at the in. So defensive driving working quite nicely there for the Spaniards.
This is really clever from Jura here. I mean, Corazza, as we said before, is now burning that soft tyre. The tyre is best at this stage of the tyre life. And Jura is saying, you know what, you are faster, but I'm not going to let you have it because every moment, every second, Corazza is putting away from Jura. It's a second he's got to try and gain back later on. So Jura there is going to sit on the outside line. He's giving a little bit of a bump draft down the straight. And then Jura seems to get a bit of a boost from that. So trying to bump draft now catch up to Serrano, is that legal?
No, it's not. The stewards do not like bump drafting, and they will be taking, I'm sure, a very close look at that. He got a warning earlier on in the race, I think Corazza, didn't he? And he's just been deemed no further action for that incident we saw between himself and Jura at the first corner last time around. But look who's ready to try and join the party. Takuma Miyazono, the 2021 champion of the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. He's now right over the rear wing. Corazza with a big slip and slide there through the long right-hander of turn number 4. Benelli and Barbara are under investigation further down as well for a collision. As we ride on board here with Takuma Miyazono, he has got boxed off his seat of what's unfolding in front of him and feels like trying to take a join in the party here for this battle for the top 5.
Miyazono is someone you can never count out of any of these races. We know just how aggressive he is, how consistent he is, and he likes these longer races. It lets him cook for a bit longer. And looking at the inside of Corazza now, very late, but Jura's wide. He's following Corazza through now, and that's going to be side by side coming up left, right, and Jura's sideways. He's slow there. So what's that contact? Or did he just get on the gas a bit too hard? We'll get a replay of that shortly. But Miyazono by, and Jura, the home favourite, is down to 8th.
And one of our first medium shot runners into the pit lane, that's Coque López. So he's decided to go off of those medium tyres. Is he going to go onto the soft? You would imagine so. It will be a soft rest of his stint as Corazza now pulls alongside, or tries to, with Jose Serrano, but Serrano's not giving any quarter. Miyazono's going to try and make it 3 wide as we head down the start-finish straight in towards turn 1. Corazza's got the inside line of Serrano. Miyazono picks his pocket. It's 2 places for the price of 1 for Corazza and Miyazono. So the supermarket deal working nicely for those 2 drivers as Serrano then drops down into 6th place. Miyazono and Jura under investigation though for that last lap incident.
Yeah, we didn't quite catch the end of it, but Miyazono now all over the back of Corazza, and this is exactly what Jura was trying to do. He was trying to hold up Corazza. He's done that, and now Miyazono's there and fighting, but unfortunately for Jura, a little bit of contact. He's still there though, he's still in the background. He's not lost too much time. These guys have been fighting enough, so they haven't pulled away too much. But anyone pretty much outside of his fight now is gaining time, because when you're fighting with someone on circuit, you're not taking the ideal line, you're not taking the ideal acceleration out of the corner. You're just having to compromise. It just slows you down. But Miyazono now right in the wheel tracks of Corazza. Will he have a look down into the hairpin? He's not quite close enough, I don't think, for a move. So if I'm Miyazono, I'm thinking now, right, okay, let's get a good run out of the last corner and get him down towards T1.
Yeah, that's got to be the mentality here, isn't it? Thinking a little bit further ahead for Takuma Miyazono. We know that overtaking opportunities are pretty far and few in between here. Critical tyre life there for Guy Barber as he comes into the pit. Cockburn also going a lap longer than Coque López, who we saw last round, who did go onto the soft tyre. Miyazono picks up a 1 second penalty there as well. Alex Lopez, who's also on that soft tyre, pitted early. So Miyazono's going to drive past Carranza here down the start-finish straight in towards the first corner. The thing is, he's going to serve that penalty later on in the lap. So he needs to have the first sector, second sector of his life if he's able to keep that place over Carranza. But I think that's going to be too tall of an order for my liking. And Miyazono now up into third place. But the question is, for how long? And will he not only drop a position to Carranza, will he come under threat from Serrano and Jura? This could be the wheels starting to come undone on the wagon of Takuma Miyazono.
You see that Carranza there, I think very cleverly just let him by to not lose time fighting this guy. He's going to get straight back by on the back straight, so there's no point fighting that. Right now, Benelli is leading from Guy Barber, but they both are yet to stop, and Guy Barber is currently driving pretty much on his rims at the moment on that medium compound tyre. So here's a replay of what happened. Here's Miyazono, here's Carranza, come through the right hand here, and just a little bit of, I don't know, I mean, obviously the contact there did cause Jura to move away, but I don't know about that.
Miyazono serving his penalty then here. Where's he going to drop behind? He drops behind Carranza, and he does stay ahead of Serrano and Jura there, crucially, as well. So that's interesting. Oh, Carranza, just having a look here, well, not happy with some of the driving standards, quite clearly, that we saw with Takuma Miyazono. So he thought it was penalty worthy, and he'll be grinning like a Cheshire cat here as we see the drivers coming through in towards the final corner. So we are now heading towards the halfway stage of this race as Benelli and Barber come into the pits from their medium tyres. So they are the last of the drivers who hadn't made a pit stop at this point. They are now making it, as also Alex Lopez does. So, because he started on the medium tyre, went early onto the softs, and I think he'll probably go soft again until the end if he can.
The fastest man on track right now is Baptiste Beauvoir. Currently in 5th position, so he went from medium to soft, so he is the leader of that strategy, the medium runners so far. So he's got a lot of pace underneath him right now as Baptiste, and with these guys going as they are, you know, anything could happen here. I mean, we've got Carranza and Miyazono leading from Serrano and Jura, who are both in that medium compound tyre. We're going to see shortly in the background the blue Toyota G010, sorry, I forgot it's called there for a second, GR010 of Baptiste Beauvoir, just lurking, just getting ever closer. This is the sort of performance we tend to see from him. You think, where's Baptiste? And he gets the last 3 laps. Oh, he's there. He's in 3rd. He's in 2nd. So keep an eye on him throughout the course of this race.
Well, he was 4 tenths of a second quicker than Jura and Serrano last time around. So he's just slowly closing that gap down, is the Frenchman. And let's see whether he can join the party. Look at Carranza and Miyazono side by side, up ahead in towards turn 10. Miyazono now back through on the Brazilian drivers, trying to right the wrongs of a couple of laps ago. Looked like a clean overtake from what we saw there. The Japanese driver now into the race lead once more.
I think Alex Lopez has pitted again. Is he going for a free stop? I don't think he can go to the end on these tyres.
Well, he started on the mediums and he went on to the softs early, didn't he? And he's going to try and go to the end on the softs, I would imagine. But I don't know if that's too tall of an order if you ask me. Because if he stops again, you're going to lose, what, 20 seconds? Something like that?
Worth it anyway. Sorry, Tom. Carranza and Miyazono side by side. Carranza there taking the place away up into P1 there. So Carranza back into the lead of this race. This is Carranza, one of these drivers who isn't really won anything in these series, but he's always there. He's always at the sharp end, but he's been very aggressive in the past. I think this is a bit more of a mature drive, although saying that, there is now another investigation involving Carranza and Miyazono, so maybe not, maybe we missed something off camera. So your race order, lap 15, Carranza, Miyazono, Serrano, Jura, Baptiste Beauvoir, Coque López. Your top 6, Hookabin, Roach, Benelli, Barbara, Lopez and Mediafidi round out your 12 drivers currently still in the race. Carranza leading through his middle sector. Very difficult to overtake through here, but if you get a good run through this long right-hander, you can maybe think of an opportunity into the hairpin. So Miyazono not quite close enough on corner exit. We'll have the draft all the way down here, though, but not quite close enough now. We're getting a little look at the tyres here, Tom.
Yeah, Carranza, a little bit more tyre life left underneath. I was just having a look at some stats, actually, on our app that we've got here. The last time that we saw Carranza on the top step of the podium in a World Tour World Series event was 2019 in Tokyo. Semi-final A in the Nations Cup.
Was it then?
Such a long time ago. So that's what, nearly 4 years, over 4 years, 3 years. I can't do the math on that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I said, oh, it's not being like, it was there. I can't believe it was actually then. But into the pits then comes Takuma Miyazono. So he's border chasing Carranza. He's going to come into the pits now. What's he going to go on to? I think that's the million-dollar question. Baptiste Beauvoir also, I think, on a similar strategy, follows him in. So the gap between Miyazona and Beauvoir is going to tell us how far the Frenchman is off that lead pack, I think. And Roach comes in as well.
So let's see what happens then. On to the medium tyres for the final stint here for Takuma Miyazono. Karatsa going to continue on for yet another lap. He'll have to come in at the end of this one because the tyres will be absolutely useless. Where's Miyazono going to emerge, though, in relation to the rest of the field? Beauvoir is the man we need to keep an eye on, and Guy Barber up ahead. Beauvoir coming out of the pit lane then, so Miyazono emerges in 8th position. He's on the medium tyre, but don't worry about the drivers in front. They're all out of sequence in relation to him and his strategy. Of course, you would expect them to start slowing down now as those soft tyres come towards the end of their useful shelf life. What's the maths on that there, JB?
So by my calculation, Lopez has gone too early. He's going to run out of tyre life towards the end. Baptiste has played a blinder. He's got a soft tyre now to the end of the race, and I think he's one of the only drivers out there to have made 2 stops and do the double stop and now be quick. So we'll keep an eye on him. Compared to Miyazono right now, he's about 5 seconds behind, but we'll know over the course of the stint the soft tyre is good for that sort of time. So, but we'll see. I think Beauvoir will be on the rim towards the end, and Lopez is going to run out far before the end.
Good thing for Miyazono here, at least, one small grub of comfort is that he's some 3 seconds behind Guy Barber. He doesn't have to worry about getting involved in anybody else's battle and being out of sequence. Now, are these two going to come around the final corner, and are we going to see a change of positions here? Jose Serrano right in the wheel tracks of Pol Jura. It's a reverse of what we saw earlier on, so Jura now ahead of Jose Serrano as we come to the timing line. How long is that going to take place, though? Because Serrano pulls out of the slipstream, draws alongside, but ducks back into it before the braking zone. So, despite being close, he's not close enough to mount a challenge at this particular point.
What happened to Beauvoir? He's spin?
Yeah, he's dropped down to 12th, hasn't he? So something's clearly gone wrong there for Baptiste Beauvoir, and we didn't get to see whether that strategy would have proven to be beneficial for Beauvoir, I'm afraid to say. I'd love to see a replay of exactly what happened, but that is devastating news.
That's a classic Beauvoir race. Gets it all lined up and then spins or gets taken out. Real shame for him. We'll let you know what happens when we get the information here, as the lap times currently between Serrano and Coque López, and really that is the difference between the medium and the soft tyre. I mean, now we've got the 3 Spaniards together on circuit. Are they going to play nice with each other? Realistically, Lopez is going to have to stop again. If I were him, I'd probably stop sooner rather than later and just get a fresh set of tyres on and go, because he's not going to get to the end on that soft compound tyre. Karatsa, his front tyre life right now is, well, as you can see, he's got the big warning marker. So that basically means they're knackered. Come and get some new ones.
Well, these 2 drivers, they know each other exceedingly well, let's not forget, because, of course, Spain won the Nations Cup last time out in the World Series showdown. Pol Jura a part of that lineup, likewise Coque López and Jose Serrano. You would expect them to know each other's driving styles, those little intricacies that you may not know if you're not a teammate of another driver quite so well. So I wonder whether they're going to be thinking ahead in that respect as Karatsa into the pit at the end of lap 18. Soft tyre, he's going to have to go medium surely for the end of this one.
Whatever happens now is the Spanish 1, 2, 3 on lap 18 of the Grand Final. Coque López goes inside Serrano and Jura at the same time. Big move from Coque López, and that's contact. Jura, I think Serrano, sorry, has been shoved off the course. He's gone, he's spun. So Coque López has just, whether he meant to or not, taken out Jose Serrano from this race, and Jura behind. And that's going to cause a little bit of controversy, I think, between the Spanish drivers.
Serrano is going to be seething. There is no other way about it. So under investigation, Lopez, Jura, Serrano, that's your top 3, or was your top 3. Serrano has now dropped down into 4th position, and that has given an advantage here, possibly, for Ryota Kokuma. He's now elevated himself up into 3rd position. Just having a look at the tyre life for Kokuma. He has run both compound of tyre. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end on this, which, mind you, he's got, what, 50% left of his front, 78% of his rear. It'd be close, but there's a possibility he could run to the end. I wonder how useful those tyres are going to be before they start wearing out and he starts slowing down.
So many different strategies here. It's quite hard to keep account of. We're trying our best here in the English GT commentary booth. Coque López is currently leading the race. Do you think there's going to be a penalty? I would love to see a replay.
Yeah, I think we need to see another angle of it, don't we, JB? That's the thing.
We just sort of saw Serrano disappear from frame, but Coque López still, in the meantime, driving as if nothing has happened. Replay coming up. So here we go.
So down the start finish strip we go. Lopez here to the inside of Serrano. I don't think he meant to do that on Jura. I think he just outbrakes himself, to be honest with you. He goes into the side. Then this is the second contact. Serrano kind of, I don't know, did he turn into a gap that was sort of not really there, not realising that Jura was on his inside.
Penalty to Jura. So I think the stewards, I'm not sure if that track limits, we'll double check. So it's 0.5, so it's actually a track limits penalty now. Oh, he's sideways. He's sideways now. So I think maybe now the pressure starting to get to Pol Jura. You know, he's a young lad. He's driven a very mature race so far, but there's a big home crowd here. And Coque López, no, he knows how to win one of these races. He knows how to win one of these events. And right now, he is pulling away from Pol Jura. But look at those tyres, 21%. He's going to the end. There's no doubt about that. He's going to just try and chance it. But I don't think those tyres are going to make it, Tom.
I think you're quite right. Well, Jura with that half-second penalty. Oh, López has picked up a penalty 2 seconds for colliding with another car. So they deem him to be at fault with the incident. I guess you could argue that he did start that chain reaction. 2-second penalty. He'll serve that next time around. So what's that going to be? 3 laps left of racing here. Now, how far behind is Jura? He's, what, 2.9 seconds. But Jura, of course, on the medium. López on the soft tyre. Oh, this is going to be really, really interesting and close. He's dropped down to 12, hasn't he?
What's happening? No one wants to win this race, it seems. Everyone's doing their best to try and sabotage themselves at this point, but Pol Jura has been given a little bit of a lifeline. Now, bear in mind, he does not have to stop again, does Pol Jura, but behind him is Ryota Kokubun, who is currently on a charge. So last lap time, coming across the start-finish line for Pol Jura, a 1:21.4, for Ryota Kokubun, a 1:29.3, a whole 2 seconds faster, and with 3 and a bit laps left to run at the moment, it's all looking good for the Japanese driver.
Can we see a second Japanese driver becoming the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion? Oh, there's an incident under investigation between Kokubun and Serrano. That's another twist in the tail. Honestly, they are throwing the kitchen sink at this race. It is absolutely spectacular. There's under 3 laps now remaining, and there is so much drama. We're struggling to keep up here. López with this 2-second penalty, what's that going to do for him in relation to Jura? I think he'll be okay, but it's going to drop the gap right down. But Kokubun, cue the Jaws music, he's right there.
It is, but Coque López's tyres, they are cooked, they are done.
Oh, Kokubun, 1-second penalty.
Boys, come on. Come on, leave it out. So there is a penalty for Coque López. Now look in the mirrors, where is Jura? There he is. So they are going to gain significantly, as they would do with a penalty, but now it's López, Jura and Kokubun. None of them have to stop again, but López's tyres, I don't think are going to make it to the end.
I think Jura's in the pound seats here, to be honest with you. Once Kokubun serves that penalty, I know he's on the soft tyres, I know they're quicker now, but I don't know, there's not that much longer left of this race to run. Kokubun needs to try and make hay whilst the sun shines, get himself past Jura as quick as he can to give himself as good of an opportunity once he has served that penalty. Let's see what happens. Jura slightly wide out of the final corner. 2 laps then left to run here at the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. Kokubun in the slipstream pulls alongside Pol Jura down the start-finish straight. He's going to go through and take second place. López's tyres, though, they are absolutely worn down to the canvas at this point.
Will we see Coque López backing up Ryota Kokubun? Minister of Defence style, Perez style here at Catalunya. I mean, you have to think about it. I mean, realistically, his tyres are gone now. His tyres have gone down to 0 on our screen. His front tyres are ruined. He can't do anything here apart from now drive to the end. If I was him, and I was thinking of the team game here, I would just block the hell out of Ryota Kokubun, legally, of course, and then allow Jura just to stay within contention. So here's a replay. This is a penalty for Kokubun.
So coming through in towards the final couple of corners we go then. Oh, no, sorry, this is turn 4 actually. On the inside, a bit of hip and shoulder there with Serrano. It was a forceful move, but it's a harsh penalty, I have to say. Let's see what happens. So 1-second penalty here for Kokubun. He's now going to drop back behind Pol Jura. López manages to retain it ahead. Jura's going to go through here on the inside. It's going to be close on the brakes, but Jura with track position. They're side by side into turn 10 for second place. The Spaniards up through. It's once again a Spanish 1-2 to the delight of the crowd here. And now there's going to be just 2 laps left at the end of this one, but López's tyres are absolutely shot to pieces, and he has still got a good few kilometres left of this race to run.
Somehow he's still staying out there. Kokubun the same issue. So now maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all Pol Jura needs now. Isn't that medium compound tyre? His tyres will last to the end. So maybe this is going to be the Spaniards race after, but Kokubun's still there, still behind, and still on some sort of pace. Let's watch him through now behind from the view back over Jura's spoiler. Is he going to pull away through these corners? No, Kokubun's still got a bit of pace there. So it really seems like it could be anyone's game. López is still running decent times. They're all in the 31s at this point. So it's looking like that medium compound tyre, also in of its life, just doesn't have the speed either.
The tyres have all dropped off a cliff, haven't they? They've come to the end of the useful shelf life for Europe, but, as you say, Lopez and Coqueman all in exactly the same boat. This could go any which way you like, and there are still 1.5 laps left to run. You can see just how much they're scrabbling for grip on the exit of 5 there. No way to put the power down. They have to be so ginger, so careful through these corners, but everybody's in exactly the same position.
You see now Coqueman now look visibly for the back of Paul Ura now. It's right on the back of Coque López. This could be it for the lead here in the grand final of the GAZOO Racing GT Cup, and almost there into the back. He's going to have better traction and his countryman off there, but they're side by side. Coqueman is just looking for an opportunity and not quite close enough now. But look how close it is now, Tom, as we come onto the final lap.
I think it's going to be down towards turn 1 where the move will be made for Paul Ura if he's able to get good traction through these final couple of corners. Look at how careful they're having to be. Everybody in exactly the same boat despite the difference of compound of tyres. One more lap to go then here for the grand final of the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. It's Lopez, Ura, Coqueman, nose to sail they run. Oh, you can see a change of lead down to the first corner. Lopez knows that, goes for the defensive line, forces Ura for the outside line. They all close up on the brakes, but no way through for Ura. Out of turn 2 for now. But a side there for Lopez. Ura goes through, as does Coqueman as well. So Lopez throws it all the way at the start of the final lap. Ura is sliding all over the place. Here comes Coqueman to the outside into turn 4. Side by side they go.
They're all suffering right now. They're all in the same boat. The tyres are not there. It's just who can deal with it the best. So far, it's Ura, Coqueman and Lopez as they come down to the hairpin for the last time. Coqueman is right there. It's nose to tail, and they're all in the same boat. Ura's a little bit wide coming down here, but still managing to keep the lead as we come through. Coqueman's looking around the outside. There's no way through there, I don't think. That's going to allow Lopez back into contention. Only a few more corners left here in the grand final.
This is absolutely spectacular. Winner takes all stakes. 2, 3 drivers, all battling for the top positions, and whoever wins this race becomes the champion. 3.5 few corners to go. Down in towards turn 10. Coqueman there. Oh, a slide on the exit. Lopez sees an opportunity, but Ura now manages to hold firm. 3 corners left. Surely Ura's got this one in the bag if he has a clean couple of corners. Down in towards the penultimate turn we go. Pole Ura, what a drive. Lopez leads to the inside of the final turn, but no way through. It's going to be Pole Ura who becomes the 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion. What a drive. Coqueman finishing in second, Lopez in third, Serrano in fourth, Pinelli inside the top 5. What a race, what a final lap. Absolutely amazing.
Not bad, huh? That was a good race at the end there. And Coqueman just about holding on to second place from Coque López. And Paul Ura, who must have thought it was over when he had the moment there coming through the first part of the lap, a couple of laps before the end of the race, but managed to claw it back in there. His countryman running over just to say congratulations. Huge cheer here, unsurprisingly, from the home crowds. He went over the start-finish line. Great sportsmanship there. That's one of the best things about our little GT family. Everyone's over there congratulating the winner. What a race there for Paul Ura. Met by rapturous applause from the home crowd, and I have to say, well deserved.
Absolutely amazing from Paul Ura. The crowd here have gone absolutely wild, and no surprise at all. Spectacular driving from the top 3. They were all in pretty much the same boat despite the difference in tyre compounds there. Right to the very end of that one, it was anybody's guess. 3 drivers, nose to tail on the final lap. Winner takes all stakes, and it was the rookie Pole Ura who managed to emerge on top in his first ever Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup World Final. What a spectacular race. God, I'm going to need to get my breath back, but here are some highlights then at the start of this one. Ura led the way as we see Karatza going through into 3rd position in the opening stages.
Yeah, it all became a tyre battle straight away. Coque López putting himself into contention nice and early on that medium compound of tyre and putting himself in position. Guy Barber and Baptiste Beauvoir were close together, and you can see a little bit of almost contact between the two as they're all vying for position. As Baptiste Beauvoir, we're not quite sure what happened to his race. He was looking good at one point for a potential victory, but not quite. Here was contact between Karatza and Ura. Ura out of the pit lane, dives into the apex. Karatza there acts like he almost isn't there, but to be fair, I think that was fair by Ura. It's his bit of track there. Karatza putting his hand up in denial, and here we got towards the end, Ura, Miazona and Karatza, and that's what we thought Euro's race is probably over, but not the case.
No, absolutely not. He managed to come back quite brilliantly. This is Baptiste Beauvoir with Alex Lopez. I wonder if this is where we saw Beauvoir going down the order, going in towards turn 10. No, he just managed to make that move stick at that particular point, but he would later drop down. So Corazza here versus Takuma Miyazono down the start-finish straight in towards the right-hander of turn 1. Now, here is where it got very spicy indeed. This was Lopez trying to pick off more than he could chew. Oh, contact there sent Serrano to the scene of the accident. Just late on the brakes, wasn't he?
It's hard to, I mean, the stewards have sort of gone with that being on Serrano and, on Coque Lopez, but a difficult one. 3 into 1 doesn't go. Here was Kokibun on his late charge, of course, picked up that 1 second penalty, and that proved to be absolutely vital because Euro would just sneak on by after the penalty was served from Kokibun, and then it was just, can we catch Lopez on these tyres? Here was the last lap, Coque Lopez just getting it sideways. That's what ultimately cost him the win.
Big drama there for Coque Lopez. Look at him fighting to keep control of that one. Ultimately, it was Pol Ura who becomes the 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion. What an absolutely amazing drive. And look at the emotion, look at the passion, and look at the applause from the crowd behind there as well. Grand final results. Pol Ura takes the spoils by just 2.5 tenths from Ryota Kokibun. Lopez in 3rd. Serrano 4th, Benelli 5th, Barbara Miyazono, Hafidi, Lopez and Beauvoir finishing the top 10 with Caleb Roach and Adriana Corazza outside of that. Goodness me, what an absolutely spectacular race. Let's head straight down to Jules and catch up with our 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion. It's Pol Ura.
Oh my goodness. Now, I know there was no snow on that track, but by the end on those last few laps, there may as well have been. That was, are you going to go to sleep tonight with the image of Ryota Kokibun in your mind? Because all day he's just been after you. That was intense.
Yeah, I can tell it was intense. I'm still speechless, unbelievable. I just can't believe this.
Yeah, I mean, did you know how bad that? Because I think you were thinking your tyres were bad, but you had no idea how bad their tyres were.
Yeah, when I got out of the pits behind Jose, and we had Corazza and Miyazono overtaking us, I thought, okay, maybe they were mediums and they were even faster than us, but they weren't softs, so calm down. And then I was behind Jose and I felt myself a little bit faster. And then Kokibun and Coque were approaching with softs, but I didn't know they were so weared off. And I got there was once when I was 4th that I thought I couldn't win this. So when I saw myself 1st in the last lap, I just couldn't tell how.
Well, I have to say, that entire race, I think everyone, there was so much stuff was happening. There were penalties left, right, and centre. It was crazy for everyone, for you guys watching, I'm sure as well. But so was it really, what was the point you knew you had a shot? What, was it just literally the last lap?
When I knew Coque had his tires punctured because of the wear, I saw he was doing weird lines. I said, okay, he has his tires done.
Yeah.
So it's me and Kokibun also had them out, and me too. And by the end of the lap, I also had, so it was a crazy race. So after the crash and after the penalty, I didn't expect to come back like that. So just speechless, unbelievable.
I feel like also your semi-final really prepared you for the Kokibun onslaught. You kept your cool. That was some intense stuff. It was going, it couldn't keep up.
I wasn't ready for this. Any of this, I wasn't ready for any of this.
Well, you certainly deserve it. Doesn't he deserve it? That was an amazing race. Let's give it up for Pol Ura, our champion, Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup!
Well, all 3 drivers will be presented with this special Kinto helmet as well. That's an absolute work of art, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad, that, is it? I mean, I'm wondering where mine is. I asked mine was here and they took it, so very upset now.
By the way, if you're wondering just how spectacular the race was, we actually ended up breaking the microphones, which is exactly why we've got these ones now, just to make that clear. Unbelievable, though. What an end to the race. What a drive from Pol Ura, Kokibun, and also Coque López. Commiserations, though, crucially for Jose Serrano. Very, very unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite convinced we were going to see a 1-2-3 from the Spaniards here today, but I think a very impressive performance for everyone on display there. And Coque as well, I think you must feel a little bit scared seeing everyone around you has the same flag. Oh no, like they're all going to team up on me. But a great job and an experienced drive from him. But I didn't expect us to have the tyre fall off towards the end. Everyone's skating around. As Jules rightly said, it was pretty much just the same as the Repechage race, wasn't it? Everyone's just trying to stay in control.
Unorganised chaos. I think that's what that was, to be honest with you. Spectacular, though, from Pol Euro. I mean, this is his first season in the GT World Series. Comes to Amsterdam, manages to get a win in the Nations Cup. Comes here, manages to win the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. Just unbelievable form from him, and timed it really, really well, just right there when it mattered.
It wins these live events, refuses to elaborate. Leaves.
Let's have another look and see if we can piece together exactly what happened here on the final lap. So Lopez gets in all out of shape through turn 2. Then you can see Pol Euro going through. That was just such a big moment there for Lopez that just defined the race for him.
I have no idea how he caught that. I mean, you see that man was juggling. And I know in those situations, you very rarely save it. So he did a really good job to keep that there. But absolutely over the moon for Pol Euro. It seems it means a lot to man. To win in front of your home crowd, very, very special feeling. I mean, the noise these guys are making are the reasons we have to go into the soundproof booths.
Well, we're about ready then for the podium ceremony here in Spain. Barcelona, of course, is the venue for the GT World Series World Finals, and a Spanish champion as well in the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup. So we're about ready for our top 3 drivers to make their way onto the stage. Please welcome in 3rd position from Japan, it is Ryota! It is Coque López! In 2nd place in the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup, please welcome from Japan, Ryota Kokuman! And the winner of the 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup, please give it up from Spain, it's Pol Euro! And now we ask for your respect, please, for the Spanish national anthem. Yeah. A huge round of applause for our top 3 finishers in the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup for 2023. And now it is time for the podium trophies to be presented. Please welcome, first of all, for the 3rd place trophy, Miguel Fonseca, the CEO of Kinto Europe. And he presents it to our 3rd place finisher, which is Coque López. Huge congratulations to Coque López. Now time for the 2nd place trophy to be presented. And it is presented by the Gran Turismo series producer Kazunori Yamauchi. And of course it is awarded to Ryota Kokuman. helmet. And now time for the first place helmet to be presented to our champion. It's presented by Mr. Miguel Fonseca, the CEO of Kinto Europe, and it is awarded, of course, to Paul Jura. And it's now time for the first place trophy to be presented by the Vice Chairman of Toyota GAZOO Racing Europe, Kazuki Nakajima, and it goes to the 2023 Toyota GR GT Cup World Champion from Spain, it's Paul Jura!
Well. Here we were thinking that a snow race for Repechage was going to be the spiciest moment of today, and yet no, not at all. My goodness, what just happened?
Well, never have I broken a microphone in commentary before, Jules, but do you know what? There's a first time for everything. Shouting loudly, that's what I was doing.
You broke it with your voice?
Yeah, I did. I know it's loud and boomy. I didn't realise it was quite so loud and boomy to break the
Well, no,
damn
we know
thing.
your voice is very loud.
Well, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's an occupational hazard with this job, I'm afraid.
My goodness. Jimmy, I mean, how many notes did you write during that? There was a lot.
I was just screaming. No notes going on, but it's awesome to see an emotional winner in Paul Jura sitting on the podium, cheering up there on the top step. That's what it means to win one of these events here. I think definitely a winner deserving of the crown.
I mean, he was at university this morning. He went to class and then came in.
I staggered in this morning by comparison.
We barely dragged ourselves in, and there it is. As you can see, this is only day one. There is so much more racing to come. We have the Manufacturers' Cup tomorrow, and then on Sunday we have the Nations' Cup also. And I promise you this, it's going to be just as spicy, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this was the only individual driver race that we had all weekend. It's now down to the teams. We've got manufacturers and we've got nations with the new format for this year. We're going to be crowning champions in a different way this weekend, and I am so excited.
It's going to be exciting. Jimmy, final thoughts?
More, please.
More, please. Well, we can certainly accommodate that. So thank you so much. Big thank you to all of our international commentators, everyone here in the studio, and thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow.
PlayStation
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. Welcome to Barcelona for the Gran Turismo World Finals in 2023. And welcome to the Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup press conference. What an incredible evening's worth of action we have had. 3 drivers battling it out right until the final lap. Only one could be crowned as the champion, though, and that, of course, was Pol Jura. Also joining him on the top steps of the podium, we have Ryota Kokubun and Coque López as well. Pol, we'll come to you first of all. An incredible race for you. And at one point, we were worried in the commentary box that it looked like the race was over for you when you had a bit of an incident. But you managed to recover, and you are now the 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion. How does it feel?
It just feels unbelievable, especially because it's my first year in the World Series. So to win a title or a competition in the first year just feels amazing. And after this race, even more.
What was the most challenging aspect of that race to you? Because when you came onto that final lap, there was everything going on in those first couple of corners.
Yeah, the first stint was pretty calm with Jose. We were just doing our pace. It was a good pace, saving the tires because tire wear was very high. But then in the second stint, where strategies from different drivers mixed up, for example, me and Jose, they were in the same strategy using just one stop, but Carazza or Miyazona were in 2 stops. So, you know, already there, we felt a bit uncomfortable. And then we had the incident with Coque, the 3 collided a bit. It was more of an incident, and he didn't do it on purpose, obviously. But it ended Jose's race, and I thought it had ended mine. But in the end, I recovered. I said to myself, this can't be over. And yeah, I ended up being first in the last lap.
And how does it feel to do that in front of your home crowd here in Barcelona as well?
It just feels crazy. I don't know what to say. It's just crazy.
Pol, congratulations.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the podium as well.
Fantastic. We'll move on to Ryota Kokubun. Ryota, second place for you at the checkered flag. An incredible final lap, though, with lots of concerns about tyres, especially. How do you look at the race from your perspective?
国分選手、聞こえてます？聞こえてないですよね。He's not hearing me.
No.
Okay.
This is a bit of a nightmare.
国分選手、2位のフィニッシュおめでとうございます。でチェッカーまで本当にギリギリの接戦で素晴らしい戦いだったんですけど、やっぱり最後はタイヤが肝になっていて、その、レースの最後の方の展開、自分の視点からどうでしたか？
はい、最後はタイヤがきつくてペースを保てなかったんですけど、他の選手もそれは同じで、結果2位という結果で終わってしまいましたけど、自分の中ではいい戦略が組み立てられたかなと思います。
So, towards the end, of course, the tires were making it very difficult for me to maintain pace, but that was the same for the other drivers as well. But I was able to maintain my strategy that I had set in the beginning and just stuck with it.
And when we head into the rest of the weekend for the GT World Series, does this podium finish give you confidence?
じゃあこの今週末の他のレースへの展望はこれでどうでしょうか？今回こうやって表彰台に立てることは次のレースへの自信にはつながっていますか？
はい、表彰台に立つのは本当に久しぶりなので、次のレースにもこの経験を生かして頑張りたいと思っています。
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the podium, so I want to use this experience and make the best of it in the races to come.
Ryota, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now let's move over to our third place finisher, Coque López. Coque, third place for you at the checkered flag. A very, very busy race for you, though. How do you feel after finishing in third place? Are you happy, disappointed? What's the emotion?
I have a mix of feelings. Of course, I wanted to win, and it was my main target. I'm also sad from one side because this is the only competition I didn't win yet, and I really wanted to do it here in front of our home crowd. But yeah, at the same time, I'm also proud of myself because my pace was really, really fast. I didn't even expect to be as fast and to be managing so well the tires while it's still going fast. And yeah, it's also a shame for in another side what happened with Jose and Paul. I wanted to try there because I knew in the end I will have a puncture, and I knew also if I didn't get as soon as possible P1, I wouldn't get the chance to make the gap. Yeah, it was a shame that when I made the move, I slided on the going on the throttle, and that made my car collide with Paul, and also Paul then collide with Jose. It's a shame. It is what it is. I'm so sad also for Jose because he deserved to be here with us. Also happy that the stewards are starting to get more strict on this kind of moves because I think it will just be better for competition.
Well, it's a fantastic result to finish in third place with such a high level of competition. Would you say that you enjoyed the race, though, from your perspective?
Can you repeat, please?
Would you say that you enjoyed the race from your perspective?
Can you? Are you higher? Are you higher?
Oh, no problem. I will say. Would you say that you enjoyed the race with all the battles and?
I don't know. It's a thought question. I always enjoy driving, and also when we have these nerves and this feeling that your heart just goes faster than usual. I've enjoyed just watching myself going so fast because, as I said, I didn't expect it. But from the training, I've been feeling very confident. Also enjoying, of course, some of the battles I had, not just this try this move with Paul and Jose, but also one funny battle and overtake I had with Baptiste middle of the race because we had different strategies. But he defended and I made it as much as I could, and I had to try to not lose time because we got in different strategies, as I said. And yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm just happy because we are very strong in the Spanish team for Sunday, and that I think that's a good thing as well.
Absolutely. Good to look at the positives for the Nations Cup.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Coque. I'd now like to open it up to questions from the floor from our media who are in attendance here in Barcelona. So if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand.
Hello. My name is Keith Nelson from Men's Health. Congratulations on the wins and all the competition. I kind of wanted to ask all three, but I'll start with Yura real quick. This is a very high-intensity kind of game, a lot of pressure that comes to it. What kind of practice do you do to keep yourself focused and not let the pressure get to you? What do you do to do that?
Well, I am actually studying in university as well, so practicing at home was a bit hard because I'm also in the competitions from Saturday and Sunday, so this gives it even more value to the win because I wasn't expecting this. I trained, but I couldn't train as much as I would have liked. But yeah, when we train, we try to first, or at least I try to first find the speed, where is the speed, and then focus more on things like tire wear, fuel consumption, and try to build up a strategy, you know? And then that's it. And here, pressure just comes and goes. Sometimes you control it better than others. But I have to say that starting in front in a race, either first, second, or third, gives already much more comfort than starting mid-grid or at the end of the grid.
Lopez, same question. How do you keep the pressure down and keep your mind sharp and focused?
It's actually something that depends on each driver. In my case, I try to be focused always on the most important thing for me, which is strategy and so. Then when you are here, you know everything can change. The strategy you prepare might be not good enough because you have also traffic and something you didn't expect at home. But then you also have to handle the pressure. And yeah, something that Paul did very well today. Also, of course, congrats to him because I'm very happy that in his first Toyota Cup he gets the win. Also to Ryota because he did an amazing race. And yeah, that's it. I think it's quite important to not just be fast at home, but also be able to be a kind of driver that can hold and keep pressure as good as possible.
And Kokubun, that's the same thing. Question: how do you maintain, a good like mental state and mind state and keep the pressure down for yourself?
国分選手にも同じ質問を聞きたいんですけど、 すごくやっぱり厳しいレースの中でプレッシャーがすごく高い環境にいる時に備えるためにはどういった練習とかどういったトレーニングをして自分の集中力を保つようにしているんでしょうか。
はい、とにかく、考えるよりも走ることを優先して練習しています。やはり経験を積んだ人には勝てないと思っているので自分もそれなりの経験を積むために、たくさん走るというトレーニングをしました。
So, I try not to think about it so much when I practice. It's really about having that experience to be under that pressure, and not break under it. So that's something that I try to just keep my cool whenever I practice, as well as when I do actually race.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any further questions from the floor?
Vera and Lopez, I was just curious, you performed here in front of a hometown crowd. How was that for you to compete and take home first and third, respectively?
To compete at home is great, feels very good, especially with the crowd, knowing that the crowd is supporting you and hearing the cheers from the back. It is really cool, and especially after getting a result like first or third, just even a podium. And at home is crazy.
I think that's something that you really enjoy. I was really looking forward to be here, not just for racing, not just for feeling the pressure, but also for feeling the love from the crowd. That's something I already experienced in 2018 in my very first Gran Turismo event. It was amazing. I knew it could be again this year, and I think we both also, Jose and the Spanish guys racing Manufacturer Series, still have some more chance to enjoy from the love of the public.
Thanks.
Tom from Overtake. A question for Paul. Did you strategize with Jose before the race? Were you working together with him, or were you just simply racing hard?
We actually said to each other, let's see what happens. If you're faster, go. But try not to cause any problems to each other, any trouble. So that's why I started first, but then he overtook me. We respected each other, and we actually went together since the crash happened. And yeah, we just try to do our own race, but still try not to put the other into trouble.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations to all three drivers. Felicidad, obrigado. Paul, everyone who's won this competition as their very first victory has gone on to win either the Nations Cup or the Manufacturers Cup, or both. Do you think this is a good omen for your drive with Mazda tomorrow and with Spain on Sunday?
Yeah, it definitely is like a boost of motivation, because winning today just makes me very happy, gives me some confidence, and yeah, I just want to enjoy tomorrow and Sunday. My main goal is to have fun, to enjoy racing, to spend time together with great people in these events that happen twice a year, so not very often, which is amazing, you know? So yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the floor? No? Okay, perfect. Well, I think that will bring an end to the press conference then. Huge congratulations in third place, Coque López, in second place, Ryota Kokubun, and the 2023 Toyota GAZOO Racing GT Cup champion, it is Pol Jura. Many congratulations to you three drivers. Round of applause, please. And thank you to everybody who has joined us at home on this press conference as well. We'll be back tomorrow with the Manufacturers Cup at 7 p.m. local time here in Barcelona for the GT World Finals.